All right. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. As promised, we got a brother here that knows the law enforcement game. He's got 36 years in the law enforcement game. He can answer any question you got about law enforcement. He can answer a lot of different. He's got a lot of different experience on a lot of different subjects. But he's been in law enforcement for 36 years. A U.S. Uh, veteran, you know, U.S. veteran. I forgot what area of the service he was in, but he's a veteran, a war veteran. I mean, the guy's got a lot of information on finance, business. But today he's going to talk from his experience as a 36-year vet, as a law enforcement person, and just to give you some insight on how to deal with law enforcement, no matter if you're riding dirty, no matter if you're riding clean, and when to ask for a lawyer, when to submit to a search, all of these different things he's going to cover. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him up. Please put your hands together for brother Daniel Maiden Jr. Brother D, what's going on with you, man?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Yeah, your wife straightened me out, brother, again. Your wife is always straightening me out, and I love it, man. She straightened me out. She said, USMC. She said, brother, he's been in the USMC. Thank you, Sister Glenda. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Because I was trying to remember. Did he say the Air Force? But no, he did not say the Air Force. He said
Special Operation Marine Corps, brother. Special Operations Police. So
right on, man. We got the right man talking. Okay, brother. So I'm not gonna hold you up. I know you got a lot of information to share with us. So why don't you just get right to it, man? And like I said, I'll probably be asking you some questions here and there. But hey, let's just make it happen, brother. The floor is
okay.
yours, sir.
All right. So the first thing I want to discuss is what happens when a law enforcement officer hears a call over the radio. And a lot of the information that we get is incorrect. In other words, if they say it's a domestic dispute, and it's not a domestic dispute, it might be a bank robbery or something in progress. We find out what's happening when we get there. Whatever comes over the radio is usually a consequence of whoever's dialing 911, whatever information that they're relaying to the radio or the dispatch. What happens to the officer at that point is we're headed to that call. And we got to figure out what we're going to do when we get there. So when we get there, we find out it has nothing to do with what was told to us over the radio. Nothing like that. It's something totally different. You got 15 people out here fighting and shooting at each other.
Right.
That changes the scenario. That shuffles the deck. So now we have to go into a different mode. And what I want people to understand, and the reason why I'm speaking from the officer side in to the traffic stop, is you need to understand what our thought pattern is in general. And our thought pattern is to make it home at the end of the night, just like we left out. You know what I mean? Come back alive. And it's a lot of bad stuff out there. So, as you mentioned, my law enforcement goes back 36 years, basically. I was a military police when in a Marine Corps Camp Pendleton. I was a base officer, and then I worked with LA County Sheriffs and Special Operations in the drug enforcement team. And then I migrated to Georgia and the Cobb County Police Department, Special Operations as well, and been to FBI Academy in 1988. That's when I went to FBI Academy. And I worked with the CIA as well when I was in the Marine Corps, Special Operations. So a lot of the information I'm going to bring is a lot of officers will not speak of it. And the reason why they won't speak of it is because we get retaliated against as a traitor. And there's a lot of law enforcement stuff that goes on that we don't speak of as well. There's a lot of racism in law enforcement, and in particular against the black officers. So if
Wow.
anybody wants to see a movie that you may or may not have seen, it's called Glass Ceiling, and it's dealing with California Highway Patrol. A black guy, fresh out on the streets, and a white female that happens to be a lesbian, and they get on the police department. And if you watch the movie, it'll pretty much tell you why police officers don't speak about what I'm talking about. And it's the racism and the segregation that you get from your own police department. So you have to deal with that, and you have to deal with the criminals out on the streets. Because they will set you up. Your own police department will set you up. And that blue curtain stuff that they're talking about white officers. They're not talking about officers that look like you and I or Hispanic officers or any of that. So we're going to start with that mindset and
Okay.
work our way out. This is what
Okay.
we come to work with every day when we show up on anybody's police department in the United States. So if you get pulled over by a police officer, you know you're not doing anything wrong, then what I'm going to tell you is what not to do. Don't start shuffling around for papers because you know he's going to ask you for your driver's license, registration, and your insurance card. Do not start shuffling around in that car because he's paying attention to every movement that's going on in that car. And he's also paying attention to how many people are in the vehicle because a lot of times the officer may be by himself,
Right.
depending on what part of the country you're in, or he may have another officer riding with him who's going to probably come up on the other side, and he's going to pretty much uh, pay attention to what's going on in the vehicle while he's questioning the driver. The reason why you don't want to be shuffling around, you want your hands on the steering wheel or on the dash. You don't want to immediately start reaching for anything because if you get an overzealous white, I'm going to say white officer 9 times out of 10, he's going to get out of his car with his hand on his gun because he's afraid. He wants to make it home.
Of course.
But
Of
he's
course.
extra afraid when he looks like you. You know,
Okay.
when you look like I look, he's automatically in afraid mode. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's very quick he's not going for his taser, he's going for his handgun. Like the officer that shot the guy the other couple of months ago, and she said she thought she was reaching for a taser instead of her
Right.
firearm. BS. That's total BS because your taser is on the opposite side of your strong hand, which is where your gun is. And there's no way you're reaching across your body for a
Right.
non-lethal weapon when you know your go-to is on your strong hand side.
Right.
So what you do when you get pulled over is keep your hands visible and adjust everybody else in the vehicle. Hey, we're not doing anything wrong. Because a lot of times officers will pull you over. They have to have what's called probable cause to stop you in the first place. That means they have to have reason to believe that a crime is about to be committed or has been committed. And that would be the reason for the stop in the first place.
Okay.
So, if, for example, you get pulled over and you're saying, well, I wasn't speeding, so why are they pulling me over? Well, driving while black. Or, it's a carload of people. They'll make it up before they get to your car.
Okay, Brother D, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm in the back seat, right? There's two men in the front seat. There's two of us in the back seat. The two of us in the back seat, if the officer pulls us over and the one officer is talking to the driver, the other officer's on the other side checking out the vehicle, where should us, as the passengers in the back seat, where should our hands be at that point?
The safest safest place for your hands to be is up on the ceiling because
Uh,
you're in the hands up position, right? So you're not reaching for anything if your hands are at the ceiling.
okay.
Because we may ask you to do that. All right,
Okay.
guys, I need you guys back here to put your hands on the ceiling, if you will, please. Some
Okay.
officers will tell you to put your hands on the front
Okay.
seat so we can at least have a visual of where your hands are.
Right.
I don't choose to do that. I need your hands up here.
Right.
But whatever you do, if you don't do what I tell you to do, then that's going to tell me that I'm going to have a problem with you.
Right.
So mentally, I'm automatically going to go into police mode. And I know I'm going to have to deal with you in a different way. Because if I tell you to put your hands on the steering wheel and you're shuffling around and reaching for the center console and going in the glove box and up under the seat, that's going to tell me you're not listening to me or you don't
Right.
plan on it. You're planning your escape and
Right.
there's something else going on. So more than likely, for the most part, there is something going on. You got drugs in the car. You have prior uh, convictions, and you don't want to go to jail. So what normally happens is they're looking for an opportunity to bail out of that vehicle, knock you in the face, and take off running. Do I have a right to shoot you in the back? No, I don't. I don't have a right to shoot you in the back if you're running away from me because the threat is leaving me. Even if you fired a shot at me. If you fire a shot
Wow.
at me, I'm going to return fire.
Right.
And you need to be prepared for that. So whether your back is facing me or not, but if you just jumping out of a car and running, we'll catch you another day. Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, we're trying to get back home. And
Okay.
realistically, we don't want to kill anybody. We don't want to shoot anybody. But you have a lot of law enforcement officers that go into law enforcement because they're racist. They want that's their ability to kill unarmed or armed uh, people that look like you and I, and
Okay.
they normally get away with it. They just convicted that brother, right? The Ethiopian brother. He had a justified shooting. The white woman called for police. He showed up. She said something was going on, but she was the one that was acting like a suspect, and she wound up getting shot, jumping on the police car, doing all kinds of stuff. She
Right.
got shot. They convicted this guy in 2 weeks and put him in jail. But here it is. We're looking at three white guys down here in Georgia, a
Yeah.
father that was previous law enforcement, and a son that was
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
and a friend of theirs. And they chased
Yeah.
that boy down that was just jogging through the neighborhood and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, we thought he was breaking into a property, and we decided
Right.
we were going to self deputize ourselves and
Right.
decide that we're going to shoot him and track him down." And
Right.
we got the video and all of that stuff. Now, back in the day, all of the stuff that black folks used to say, like, we're being accosted by police officers, we're being pulled over for no reason. Sandra Bland, you know, the other white officer that shot the black dude sitting in his own living room watching TV, nice crowd.
Right.
He said,
Right.
"I thought that was my apartment," and he broke in and all
Right.
this crap
Right.
because they're used to getting away with it.
Right.
Um, so, right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't believe police officers can't be arrested as well. I had one of my officers that I work with, he got arrested. I wasn't at work 15 minutes. I'm trying to back him up
Right.
on the call that he got, but instead, he did, and he was a black dude. He did something wrong. So,
Right.
he got arrested by his own
Yeah.
police department. So, that's
Wow.
kind of a horrible situation to do. But
Yeah.
I'm basically just trying to tell people a few things that nobody's going to talk about. And let's say you get arrested. Let's say you get pulled over. It's a
Okay.
driver in the vehicle, somebody in the passenger seat, and you got two people in the back.
Right.
Well, Everybody shuffling around the car. Everything I said don't do is what they're doing. Everybody shuffling around trying to hide this, hide that, do this, do that. So everybody in the car has. Now I'm talking about an actual stop that I had.
Okay.
Everybody in the car has criminal records, and nobody wants
Okay.
to go to jail. So what happens? I'm the only officer on the scene, so I have to determine, if a crime is afoot
Right.
or a crime is about to be committed. But once again, I'm looking out for my safety. So
Of
what happens?
course.
I'm asking the guy that's the driver for his driver's license registration. He's wondering why I'm pulling him over. I'll tell you that in a minute, sir. But right now, I need your driver's license registration
Right.
insurance card. In the meantime, you guys in the back, for your safety and mine, I need you to put your hands on the ceiling and keep them there. And
Okay.
I need everybody in the front seat. The guy in the passenger side, I need you to put your hands on the dash and don't remove your hands. The other guy, I need you to have your hands on the steering wheel. In fact, I need you to turn that car off and hand me the keys.
Oh, okay. Can
So
they do
what am
that,
I
brother
doing?
D?
I'm restricting your movement at that point because 9 times out of 10, if they're doing something wrong, they're going to start their car up and get the hell out of that. They're going to haul ass, and that becomes a police chase at that point.
So,
Uh,
brother D, quick question:
mm-hmm.
Is it legal for the officer to be able to ask me to not only to shut my car off, but hand him the keys? Is that legal?
It's legal in the sense it really depends on what the stop is. So just a regular traffic stop, oh, you were speeding, this and that is not a normal procedure. But it is
Okay.
legal for him to restrict your movement
Okay.
because he's effective. Now, here's another thing. You can be arrested and be unarrested. So I can literally put you in cuffs for
Wow.
my safety and yours.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay.
under arrest at that point,
Okay.
whether I told you charges or not.
Okay.
You're under arrest. But I can unarrest you. But
Ah.
I'm doing it for my safety and yours.
Okay.
And if I deem necessary that there's no crime being committed and that there's no, there's misidentification, then I have to show you my apologies, take you out of those cuffs, and let you on your way. Because
Okay.
what I have in front of me does not designate that you committed a crime. We have to
Okay.
still follow the color of law no matter what. But
Okay.
our safety is paramount. That's more important. What our safety is and your safety. We don't want you to do anything wrong because a
Okay.
lot of people wind up getting shot because they're doing something wrong that they thought was normal. Shuffling
Right.
around in the glove box. Well, I didn't
Right.
tell you to go in the glove box. I'm
Yeah.
asking you I'm thinking you're going to reach for your wallet.
Right.
Well, what happened to the brother? He got shot. He says, I have a firearm and I'm going for my
Right.
ID that you asked for. And he has a young child in the back, and he has his fiance in
Yeah,
the
I remember
driver's
that one.
seat, and he gets shot up
Right.
by an overzealous police officer.
Right.
Was the officer justified? Hell fucking no. He was not.
Right. Right.
But he had the complexion for the protection. He didn't
Right.
look like the dude that he was talking to. And
Right.
this is stuff that officers are not going to talk about. I'm going to talk about it because I'm not assigned. I'm
Right.
still a certified peace officer. I'm not
Okay.
assigned to nobody's police department, so I have no retaliation as of yet.
Okay.
But he got shot. The guy had a legal permit to carry, and he was saying, "Hey, I have a firearm on this side, but I am reaching for my ID."
Right.
Now, in regards to that, you're gonna have to roll your window down. You can put your ID up against the window. You can put your registration up against the window. It's not required. And a lot of times they'll tell you, get out of the car. You don't have to get out of your car. Get out of your car for what? A lot of times what they do is they'll tell you, do you mind if I search your vehicle? They haven't even told you why they pulled you over.
Yeah.
They have not. And they're asking you, and a lot of people think if they say something about searching your vehicle, you have to say, well, yeah, and that's normally what they say. Yeah, go ahead. No, there's a certain thing in the law called consent to search. And if you give them consent, probable cause goes out the window. Anything that they find can and will be used against you, but they didn't have the consent to legally search your vehicle in the first place. If they
Right.
stop you because you got expired tags, that ain't got nothing to do with a search. That does not consequent a search. You know
Right.
what I mean? If you're speeding, that does not consequent a search. You get a speeding ticket and you go on your way, and we'll see you in court. But a lot of people are getting pulled over, particularly in certain states, for no other reason other than being black, driving while black. And you will get pulled over, or if you're Hispanic, and they will
Right.
tell you, hey, can I search your car? And what do most people say?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And whatever they find, oh, here we go. And next
or they
thing you
put
know, they
or
got
they put something there.
right. You got Jeffro up here keeping an eye on everybody up front and telling nobody to move. Well, we got Joe Shit the Rag Man bringing drugs in and saying it's yours.
Okay, brother D. So I got a question, man.
Hmm?
In that situation, you know you're good, but maybe you might have other people in your vehicle and you don't know what's going on with them. What should you say when they say, "Can we search your vehicle?" What should you say?
You should say no.
Okay.
You should say no.
Okay.
And one of the biggest things in that scenario, like one of the scenarios I was using earlier, I stopped a carload of guys, and the guy that was driving, he knew his brothers was dirty, the guys that was riding with him, but they had dope on them, and he knew about that, and they were shuffling around in the car, so I knew something was wrong. So I saw one of the guys as I was walking back up to the vehicle trying to hide a bag of cocaine. He had some rock. And I was like, okay, I need everybody out of the vehicle right now. I need you to shut the car off, and I need you to hand me the keys. That's a lawful action. He gave me the keys. He got out of the car. By this time, I have other officers that showed up. And we're searching the vehicle at that point. We don't need consent at that point because I visually saw, you know, a drug being hidden or an attempt to hide some drugs. So
Okay.
we don't need
So
consent.
okay. So you actually witnessed criminal activity happening.
Right.
So that therefore that's your probable cause right there.
Right. That the original stop was the fact that they were speeding and zigzagging through lanes.
Okay.
So normal driving people don't do that. They're trying to
Right.
get around everybody. The speed he's going over the speed limit. He's zigzagging, cutting people off, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
that's not normal practice of a normal driver. So that's
Okay.
probable cause for me to see that there's got to be something wrong. We don't know if he just left for robbery. We don't know if, but that's
Right.
probable
Right.
cause. You're
Right. Right.
erratically driving. That gives me a reason to stop you to investigate what this is what police do.
Right.
This is our job. Why are you driving like a jackass when everybody else is
Right.
driving normal?
Right.
And then you subject yourself to further investigation. But then, as I'm going through the investigation, you got boys trying to hide stuff. Well, guess what? I'm like, whose dope is this? And the driver said, it ain't mine. And the guy on the passenger said, it ain't mine. And the guy in the back seat that I saw shoving it under the seat, it ain't mine. And he looked back and says, it ain't mine. So guess who mine is? Mine is everybody in the damn car. You're all going to
Oh.
jail. You're all going to jail until y'all figure out what mine is.
Right.
Oh, I ain't got no ID. A lot of people don't know. it's illegal to walk the streets in America without ID. You're either going to have a school ID or you're going to have a
Right.
government or state issued ID. That's a driver's
Right.
license or state issued ID.
Right.
You have to have that on your person at all times. A lot of people don't know that that's against the law to be walking
Right.
around with nothing.
Wow.
So then we John Doe your ass. We lock you the fuck up until somebody can show up with some damn ID with your real name, and you can tell me you Roscoe P. Combs. I don't give a damn. I need ID that says that's who you are and with your picture on it. If you don't have that, we will lock you up until we find out who the hell you are. And
Oh.
eventually you get tired of that lockup and then you say, okay, I'm really Daniel Me. So I want to get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? All right, man, we ain't got nothing on you, but you know, you gotta have ID when you're out there, man. So cut yourself a lot of the BS and just comply. Now, as an officer, I'm also going to tell you: do not um, create a situation where you're going to make it a bigger situation than it is. So you want to
Okay.
remain calm and you want to comply as much as possible. But I don't want you to be in a Sandra Bland situation either, where you have unscrupulous law enforcement out there
Okay.
that are going to have you out there. They stopped you for no reason and they want to get you off the body cam and do all this other stuff. And
He
then wind
won.
up, she wound up, dead. You know what I mean? And they're saying she hung herself. She had no reason to hang herself. You want to comply, but at the end of the day, you want to go home alive as well. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I got a question.
Surviving while being black, surviving while being out here getting pulled over by a police officer. You,
I got a question for you, brother D.
I got an answer.
I know you do. That's why I'm asking you, brother. Do you think that is it better because we got a lot of young people out here that that are out here on the streets and they have no way of knowing the information that you're giving them. And a lot of times, what they'll do, I've seen it, I know you've seen it too, where they will buck up against the arresting officer or the officer that pulled them over or whatever. They'll buck up against them. No, I don't have to do this. I had one of my sons do the same thing, and I had to calm him down when police just stopped him walking down the street, and he was, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" This and that, right? So should they be thinking about, okay, this officer is going to be concentrating on his safety, so this is I need to be stay calm just to keep my safety and have him not get nervous, because that's when people get shot, when people get nervous, man, when people get afraid. Do you think, I mean, well, put it like this, can you put it in a way where you letting the people know to remain calm, but why should they remain calm? Because you said that, but why?
Well, law enforcement, our main priority when we show up on the scene, if it's a hostile scene, is to de-escalate the scene, not to increase the scene. Because I've actually de-escalated a lot of scenes that had other officers responding show up and automatically blow it the hell back up, and it becomes a shootout and all kinds of shit. So, which is dumb as hell, but it happens. So your objective is to de-escalate, calm the situation down, make the officer feel at ease, keep yourself at ease. Because when you're frustrated and you're upset and you're aggravated and it shows, that's going to make the officer even more frustrated and aggravated, and he's going to respond in kind. So your slightest movement and your slightest this and your resistance, a lot of times you just gotta, and a lot of times you're not doing anything wrong, but you're not helping it by get the hell off of me, you're not helping that situation at all. So the best thing is to remain calm And if you're not doing anything wrong, remain calm. And you have a right to know why you were stopped in the first place. You have a right to know what procedures do you want me to do from here on and out. And you might be compliant. But let me tell you something else. You have a lot of rogue officers out here, and we're taught to say stop resisting, even if you're not resisting.
Yeah.
So you'll have somebody grab you, throw you to the ground, and they'll
Right.
handcuff you. And they'll constantly say, stop, and they'll yell it out. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting, man. I'm in handcuffs. What are you talking about? And they
Yeah.
will stomp you in the face and do whatever they want. See, these are rogue officers that are out here. That's illegal. You can't do that. They're breaking your civil rights, and they should be arrested on sight. We saw what happened with George Floyd,
Right.
and it took a whole year for them to even arrest him, and now we got to wait till June for the other three, and we
Right.
saw it on film. Now, guess
Right.
what? They're still trying to figure out a way to get these guys off,
Right.
but they got the color and the complexion for that protection.
Right.
It doesn't work for folks that look like us, with
Right.
or without a badge.
I was let me throw this in there, brother D. So I was training with some law enforcement individuals one time, and they were saying that exactly what you just said. They said that if you ever have to get, you know, take control of a person, and you're working with them, and you get them to the ground or whatever, just keep yelling, "Stop resisting!" Or they would, well, they were telling us, non law enforcement people, they were saying, "Yell, help, help, get off me!" Even while you just, mm, mm, you beating the dude down into the ground, you saying, "Help, help, get off me, get off me, get off me." And the purpose was that they explained to us was that when people hear you saying help, they're gonna think you're the person that's trying to defend yourself. Meanwhile, this person here, because we were working from the point of somebody trying to attack us, and so he was saying, you know, they will look at that as, oh, you just defending yourself, as opposed to they see you just, you know, working this guy over. That would be better. So I took that from them in law enforcement, saying, man, if they telling us to do that, what are they doing? You know, what are they doing? They out there probably doing the same thing to
Right.
guys in handcuffs. And like you said, George Floyd, you got the neck, and what's the guy, Eric Gardner, you know, stop resisting. The guy's dead, right? They tell him stop resisting, right? So I just want our the people that's listening to understand where they should be thinking. They should be thinking for both people. Not don't just think for yourself, but think for the officer that's out there too, so that you'll know where his head is at as he's making these movements and statements to you. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with that. Um, what you have to do is the officers thinking ultimately about his safety. You got to think about yours too. You know what I'm saying? If you know somebody's doing something wrong to you just because they have a badge, doesn't mean anything. You know, you could tell if somebody's really doing something wrong with you. And at the end of the day, you got to defend yourself. You got
Yeah.
to make it home to your family just like he's trying to make it home to his. And
Yeah.
if he's a rogue police officer, yeah, you want to be calm and you want to try to keep things de escalated, which is what he's supposed to do. That's his job.
Right.
But if it looks like it's getting escalated and it looks like this guy, he didn't stop you for that reason that he said he stopped you for. He's just trying to exact his white supremacy or his white privilege. I don't like using that supremacy word. And I got
Yeah.
a
Me.
badge, I'm white, and I say so. You know the difference between that and somebody that's dealing with you reasonably. So whatever you got to do to protect yourself, do that. If you got to fight with that officer, then fight with his ass because you
Right.
still trying to survive. I don't want you to do that if you know your ass is in the wrong. You got some
Right.
dope on you. You know you or you just rob 5 houses all day.
Right.
You ain't helping yourself in that regard. But if you know you ain't did shit and you know, and one of the major things I want to tell people is shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Good advice, man. Like Lena
Shut
Kearney.
up.
Good advice.
Because they tell you, oh, you got a right to remain silent. Anything you can't say can and will be used against you. That's your Miranda rights, right? You hear a lot of
Right.
people say, well, they never read me Miranda rights. Well, guess what? They don't have to read you your rights. The only
They
time they
don't.
have to read you your rights is when they're going to question or interview you about the
Wow.
details of that crime. And that's usually going to be a detective or an investigating officer. They're not going to sit there. They don't have to read you shit. But
Wow.
if they have reason to believe and enough evidence to say that you have been arrested and are going to be arrested for a specific cause, the best thing for you to do is shut the fuck up
Right.
and ask for an attorney. Because when you ask for an attorney, that shuts the questioning down. They cannot question you any longer and ask you anything. And
Okay.
when you ask for your attorney, when your attorney shows up, he's going to advise you to shut the fuck up and I'll do the talking for you. Because you don't know you can talk your way into a situation by running your
Right.
fucking mouth because it's something called spontaneous utterance. That's a legal term, which means you said some shit that really convicted your ass. And
Right.
that's the term where they say can and will be used against you. Anything
Ah.
you say can and will be used against. So you think the officer ain't paying attention? No, he's writing that shit down. It's going in his police report, and the DA
Right.
is going to use that against you.
Wow.
Can and will be used against you. So shut the fuck up and wait till your lawyer gets there.
Okay, brother D. Let me ask you a question. This is the question. When do you ask for a lawyer? When? At what point do you see the situation turning left enough to where you say, you know what, I need to shut up and just ask for a lawyer?
When you
At what
know,
point?
for example, so and I'm gonna use two examples. All right, you got stopped and you know you didn't do anything. You can ask for your lawyer right away, right?
Okay.
Let's say you did do something. You got a losing battle. Ask for your lawyer
Okay.
right then and there. Don't wait. I need to talk to my lawyer.
Okay.
That does not keep them from apprehending you. It doesn't keep them from arresting you or doing anything of that nature. What it
Okay.
does is it puts them on notice that they can no longer question you at that point, and they're going to do it anyway because they're going to break the law 9 times out of 10. That don't mean you got to keep running your mouth though. So you shut up, ask for your lawyer. You're supposed to get that phone call, right? A lot of times they make sure you don't get that,
Right.
so they keep you locked up. Nobody knows where the hell you're at.
Right.
And then finally, Ray Ray saw you got locked up, and that's how they found out where that you got locked up. And then it gets back to your family. They get an attorney. Now, there's a difference between an attorney and a public pretender.
Okay.
What's the difference? A public pretender is a person that is court appointed because you can't afford an attorney.
Right.
And what does that do? He plea bargains your deal. He tells you to plead
Right.
guilty, and you wind up doing time,
Take the
regardless.
probation or take the time and take the probation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that I'm speaking about that, because I worked as a volunteer with the juvenile justice system for the young brothers, please be advised that all that stuff you did in junior high and elementary school, where you got suspended and you knew you wasn't gonna go to jail, and then you got to a certain age where you might go to juvie. Well, guess what? They're stacking that stuff up. They're making it so that every black male and every black female has a track record. So when
Right.
your ass turns 18 and you
Right.
actually do a felony or you do another crime, guess what? They go all the way back to show a history. We call that a criminal history.
Right.
We go back and we show a history of everything because they want to bastardize the shit out of you when they want to get a case closed. They want to make it
Right.
seem like you are just a bad person and we can go all the way back to first grade with this person.
Right.
Suspended from school, stole a bag of chips because he was hungry, uh, got a Pepsi when he ran out the door, and they're gonna act like that's a damn crime. And then when you escalate and you get into something, you standing out there with your homie smoking some weed, they're gonna run up on you and they're gonna arrest you.
Right.
Anything that's in the state of Georgia, anything less than an ounce, if you got a bag of weed, is considered a misdemeanor. But if you get over a pound, excuse me, an ounce of weed, that becomes a felony. So what does a pound of weed look like? You ever seen them big ass Ziploc bags?
No. I have
Let
no
me see if I
idea what
got one.
you're talking about, brother.
It's
Yeah.
it's bigger than this.
Oh, okay.
It's bigger
Yes,
than this. It's about like
I
that.
would definitely
That's a
need you
pound
to
of
show
weed.
me what that is, brother.
Your ass is going to jail for a felony.
Wow.
Otherwise, you're getting a ticket. So if you got a couple dime bags, you're good. Now, you got some cocaine on you. Doesn't matter what that amount is. If you're black, you go to jail. A white dude, he can have a whole kilo. He
Wow.
gets out.
I found it.
You know what I'm saying? So bottom line is, and who brought? We already had a discussion a long time ago about because I was part of that drug situation back in the '80s when
Right.
all the drugs kind of got flooded here.
Right.
So all of that was by design. They brought all that stuff to the United States, stuck it in our neighborhoods, and you got brothers out here trying to eat, and the only option they giving them is jail in the military. So what do? They either go to jail or they go in the military, or they sling that rock and
Yep.
sell that weed or whatever. So at the end of the day, they trying to survive because you're not giving them
Of
another
course.
option.
Right.
So it is what it is. But I'm not supposed to be talking the talk that I'm talking right now, and most
Yeah.
officers will not do that. But
We
um,
appreciate
it
you,
goes
brother. We do.
it goes on and on and on, man. It goes like I said, 36 years I've been doing this stuff on the
Okay.
federal,
So
state, and local level.
let me ask you another question, brother D. Um, if the officer pulls me over, right? He doesn't tell me what he's pulling me over for. I say, "Is there something wrong, officer?" And they say, "Just I need you to get out of the car." Should I just submit to him, or should I say first? You have to first tell me why you pulled me over. Should I even try to see what's going on, or should I just listen? Submit to his demands.
What I would say is, for your best effort, is to go ahead and comply with the officer, because you don't know why he pulled you over. You know you didn't do anything wrong if you didn't do anything
Right.
wrong. If you did something wrong, you know you did something wrong. Just
Yeah.
oh damn,
Right.
you know the difference.
Right.
But if you know you didn't do anything wrong, then my suggestion would be to comply with them as much as you can.
Okay.
And you're definitely going to be at a slight advantage by doing so, but showing immediate resistance is going to cause you a problem because then that's going to make the officer, especially if he's a rogue officer, that's going to take him to a whole nother level to where he wants
Right.
to be in the first place,
Right.
and then it's not going to work out for you.
Right.
And chances are he's going to get off. So if he doesn't look like us, so
Okay.
you know, I mean, I've gotten stopped a lot of times, and my brother's currently still a police officer out on these streets.
Right.
He's with Atlanta Police Department. I was with DeKalb, right?
Right.
So we've gotten stopped in uniform.
Wow.
When I was at LA County Sheriff, I got stopped in uniform. So
Wow.
you have to ask yourself the question: why did I get stopped? All they seen was from here up.
Right.
They didn't see all of this
Right.
badge and gun and all this other stuff,
Right.
and
Right.
they didn't give a fuck because
Right.
they were rogue officers in the first place. And their
Wow.
thought pattern is to stop everybody black that I can and enact my racism. So what do they say when they pull us over and we're in uniform? They
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
to
We'll
the
do it.
window and they're like, oh, my bad, my bad. No, what did you stop me for? I'm still gonna pull my driver's license insurance and I'm gonna hand it to them. Okay, so why did you stop me? Why'd you stop me? Let me give you
What
another
can?
instance.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
This happened yesterday.
Okay.
I'm dressed the way I'm dressed right now. This is a training shirt. It has a police badge on it and all that. This is just a training shirt. This is not part of the uniform. Um, I'm standing in the foyer. You know, when you walk into a supermarket, you have that area where they have shopping carts and another set of doors. You go in there and then you go into the body of the store. I'm standing there because I had something on my phone I needed to check out. And because I don't like fumbling with my phone, I have a Bluetooth on most of the time. And didn't have it on, so I'm trying to get some information out of my phone. These young ladies walked past me, two black women, and they said, "Are you security?" Because they saw the badge on my shirt, right? I said, "No, I'm a police officer. What's going on?" And they said, "Well, there's two people in there wilding out in the store." So I said, "Okay." Seconds later, this old white dude comes out with his shopping cart, and he's just going out of the store. And then this black chick, I'm going to say she's a dyke because she was a lesbian,
Okay.
walks up to the guy and says, "Hey, sir, you shouldn't talk to people like that, especially a lady," and this, that, and the third. And neither one of them are cussing or having any adversarial stuff. But then the guy turns his cart loose, turns around and bristles up in front of him. Mind you, this guy he's about 6 foot old dude, maybe in his 80s, and I'm standing behind him. I don't know if he noticed me or not, but the young ladies that say, "Hey, are you a security or are you an officer or whatever?" They're still there. They're almost halfway out the door, and they stop. And I'm waiting on the guy to swing on her because that's the way he acted.
Wow.
Now, the ladies came back into the store and said, "Are you going to do something?" And I said, "Ma'am, I can't do anything because there's no crime that has been committed. It was
Right.
just verbal discourse, and that was it. They weren't even cussing at each other." I don't know what happened when they were in the store because I
Right.
hadn't gotten in the store yet.
Right.
But the point is a lot of times people don't know the difference between a law that's been broken and a law that has not. And I
Right.
already mentioned I've been in law school, but I'm not an attorney.
Right.
I know the law. I know what the law is. But most people don't know what the law is. And they thought I was supposed to do something about people having a disagreement. That's just a civil dispute.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not a criminal action where somebody
Right.
goes to jail because they don't agree with you stole my loaf of bread or you got in line in front of me. That's
Right.
a crime.
Right.
So they don't understand the difference. So I
Right.
told the lady, I said, "There's no crime being committed. There's nothing I can do here. Well, you need to do your job. Get off your phone." That's what they told me. And I said, "Yes, ma'am." But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. because no crime was being committed.
Okay. Okay. So I want to ask you something else, Brother D, because
Yeah,
you said something that really um that a lot of us go through, especially when we're younger. Um, you said that, and even the lead attorney said the same thing. Just shut up and be quiet. But suppose you say to them, "Hey, uh, you know what, officer, I don't want to speak anymore. I'd rather talk to my attorney. Man, let me talk to my attorney." Okay. Now, what do you do in the instance where they keep trying to approach you to speak?
you
They
keep your
continue
mouth
to.
shut. You keep your mouth shut because a lot of times the officers, they know they can't question you unless there's a crime afoot or a crime being ready to happen and they're intervening. They don't have a right to sit there and question you. They can talk all they want, but you can shut the hell up. So it's in your favor to keep quiet than that spontaneous utterance that I spoke of, which is going to
Right,
work against you because that will
right,
be used against you. You might not even know that what you're saying is going to
right,
be legally something they can use in the courtroom to slam your ass.
right,
Shutting up is your best option. And wait
right,
and let your attorney decipher that bullshit because he understands and he can interpolate the law a little bit better. That's your best option. But running your mouth, blurting out stuff. I had a guy on a murder charge. He went out and shot up a party, and I arrested him. He said, "What's murder?" I said, "Murder is you. You're a murderer."
right.
She just and he tried to get away. We had squad cars flying all up and down the street because they wouldn't let him in the party. He wasn't even invited. And he
Wow,
decided he's going to shoot the place up, him and his boys.
wow.
And unfortunately, some people got killed. So, what is
Oh
murder?
man,
Murder is you.
yeah.
You're going to jail for murder. And he just kept talking. He wasn't helping himself. And I'm still writing.
Okay, brother D, I got a question from Beezy, that dude. Uh, can you film the interaction between you and an officer if you inform them of the recording process?
Can you film the interaction between you and officer if you inform them of the recording process? Yeah, you can always film the interaction um, with another officer because here's the problem.
That's your
We
First
actually
Amendment right,
voted.
right?
We actually voted for the body cams, or at least on my department, because
Okay,
my department got blamed for a lot of police brutality, shootings, and stuff like that. Right? We voted
okay,
for that. We wanted the cams, the body cams. The problem was, and it's still a problem, they cut them damn cameras off at any time.
right,
They cut that volume off.
right.
They can cut because you have the ability to cut the volume off or the
Wow,
audio or both. I mean, the visual. So you can cut all
right,
that off. And
right.
a lot of these officers, they know they're about to do something foul. What do? They get away from their dash cam, drag
Yeah,
you off to the side, jack you up,
right.
or they'll cut their body cam off and they'll
Yeah,
cut the audio off and all that kind of stuff. So you recording the information, as we've seen with the George Floyd case, there was a whole bunch of people with camera phones and they took video and they were
right.
still trying to get this guy off
Yeah,
and the other officers.
yeah,
So yeah, you should let them know that you're uh, camming them up. In fact, my wife was pulled over by an officer. She knew it was an erroneous pullover, and
okay.
they told her to cut her fucking cam off.
Wow.
He's looking through the car. He wants to search the car. Cut your camera off. She says, "No, I'm not cutting my camera off." Oh, have a nice day. Then he gets gone. Why
Oh
you
man.
stop me in the first place? You thought you was gonna get away with some bullshit. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So no. If you have a camera, keep it on. If you have audio,
Okay.
keep it on. Now we're already
Okay.
seeing people are acting like they're blind in one eye and can't see out the other when you show photo evidence because they always said that black people were making this stuff up. Now everybody's
Right.
got a camera on their phone and we're showing it to them. This is what's been going on for hundreds of
Right.
years that y'all said wasn't happening. And now they're seeing that and they're still saying and going into the officers, oh, he's fine. He's not
Right.
fired. He gets
Yeah.
paid. He's on leave. But when they look like us, that doesn't happen. And they don't talk about that.
Yeah.
They
We
don't
brother
talk
D,
about that.
brother D. We had a LA sheriff. We had an LA sheriff out here that got caught because two of them, as a matter of fact. I think it was LA sheriff. It was either LAPD or LA sheriff. And what happened was they went to go put some work in on this dude, man. They a gangbanger or whatever. They went to go put some work on him, and he was like talking back to him or whatever. So they turned their camera off, but they didn't realize that, I don't know. It's either LAPD or LA sheriff. They have a 2 minute window where you can turn the camera off, but it's gonna stay on for 2 minutes. And they didn't know it's still gonna be on for 2 minutes. It's still
Right?
running. You think it's
And then
off,
it
but it's
goes
still
off.
on. And they
Right?
got caught. They got caught beating this dude down. And so, yeah, man, a lot of them do, like you said. I remember back when I was coming up. You know what they would do to us, brother D, out here, the LA sheriffs. What they would do is take their badges off. They would take their name tags and their badges off, and they'd leave them in the car, and they come and put work on you. They pull you over, and that's another question I want to ask you, because I had it happen to me. So I'll tell you what happened to me. Um, these LA sheriffs tried to pull me over. They tried to pull me over, and so what happened to me? What happened was they tried to pull me over behind this liquor store in this alley, this dark alley, right? I was like, nah. I made them go all the way up to this bus station. So I made them go like a mile and a half farther down, man. They were like, blowing the horn, pull over, pull over, pull over, pull over. And I was like, yeah, I'm pull over, but I'm going down here where there's people on this bus stop, right? So I pulled over at the bus stop. So one of the guys gets out, hey, why you didn't get out? Why you didn't pull over where we told you to pull over at? I said, because there's people here at the bus stop. I was calm, like you said. There's people here at the bus stop, and it's lit here. I didn't feel safe back there, so I pulled up over here. And they ended up, driving off. But they never told me why they pulled me over, what was going on. They never told me none of that stuff. They just said, don't do that anymore. If we pull you over, you pull over where we tell you to pull over. And I was like, okay. And then they just left. They didn't say you did this, you did that, or anything. But my question to you is that should you do something like that? Because I remember it was a law because there was a highway patrolman that was stopping women behind in dark alleys and places, and he was raping them and in the dark alley. So they passed a law saying, well, at least in California, you don't have to stop where you don't feel it's safe. You can stop where you feel it's safe as the person they trying to pull over, right? Does
Right.
that work for everyone, or how does that work?
That's nationwide because, like I
Okay.
said, at the end of the day, your safety is just as important as the damn officers. So if you don't feel safe, don't stop. Keep going till you're in a highly populated, highly lighted area, like you would do any situation if you're feeling like it might be unsafe. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to make it home as well.
Right.
But don't take for granted that just because somebody's got a badge and a gun, that they're somebody that can be trusted. I
Right.
mean, we're supposed to give them a level of authority as a police officer and obey, what's going on. But you got a lot of people that get on the police department to exact their racist attitudes or whatever it is that they're about. You have a lot of that. My police department, every police department I've ever been on, every police agency was racist. I'm going to say that at my face. Racist. If I was on the department still, right, I couldn't say that because they
Right,
oh, we
right,
racist, huh? We're going to show you,
right.
you know. So, but the bottom line is you got to protect yourself. You got to really want to go home at night. But if you got to sit out there and fight for your life, then I don't think a badge and a gun makes a difference. I
Yeah.
think you need to fight for your life.
Fight to the death.
If you got
Yeah.
a rogue officer out there trying to do you harm and you know you ain't doing nothing wrong, then you need to fight for your life.
Yeah.
Ahmaud Arbery, what he do? He got shot for jogging through a neighborhood
Yeah.
because I'm white and I thought that I can self-deputize myself and decide
Right.
that I'm going to harass somebody. You know what I mean?
Trayvon Martin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bag of
Just
Skittles.
walking.
What's the
Right.
other dude? Brown. Talking about
Yeah.
because he was a big dude, he reached in and grabbed his gun.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
many cases
Gardner.
I
Yeah.
investigate that are such garbage cases?
Yeah.
But you can tell when the officer is out of line. You know what I'm saying? But when
Okay.
they're
Okay. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Brother D. Because that's what I want to get to. Because a lot of our people don't know, and they need to know this information of when that they can see that when, like when Islam, they say exceeding the limits. We have to say, okay, when is this person exceeding the limits? Are they what is the word haram? Are they over the limit in what they're supposed to be doing? Okay, so
that's haram, right?
that's haram. So we're gonna see. Okay, so hold on, brother D. Let me catch up on these chats, and then because I think I got a few questions for you, and then you're gonna tell us when to recognize or the signs to recognize when these officers are exceeding the limits. Hold on one second. Okay, here's your wife. Brother D, I see a lot of shows where officers are filming while on duty. Is that legal? Is that legal, brother?
I'm not sure what she means by that question.
I think
Filming
she's
while
saying I think she's saying that if the officers can film you, then you should be able to film the officers. I'm imagining what's what
yeah,
she's saying,
yeah, you
right?
can anybody can film anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
It's just like when you ever get a phone call and they tell you that the call is being recorded for quality
right,
assurance and training purposes? Well,
right.
goddamn it, you're being recorded too when you call me.
But do
So
I have
that's
to?
legal.
But do I have to see? Because I think what she's saying is that you, as the officer with the body cam, you don't have to say to me, "Sir, you're being filmed." Right? You don't have. Do you have to say that? You
No,
don't have to say that, right? Okay. So do I have to
no,
say?
be
Do I have to say, officer, you're being filmed? I have cameras in this car or this vehicle, or I'm filming you on my cell phone. Do I have to alert the officer to that?
there's a gray area with that because the law basically says that you cannot record someone without their knowledge, without
Okay.
advising them that they're being verbally recorded or camera recorded. The difference is with police officers, we're police officers, but we have certain authorities that the average person doesn't have. So we can
Right.
record you, we can do surveillance, we can do all kinds of stuff that you are not allowed to do as a citizen. So
Right.
legally, to answer your question, we can do that. You don't have to say one way or another, but you're supposed to if you're a civilian. As law enforcement, we don't have to do that. If we're surveilling you and we're doing an undercover sting or whatever, we can record you, we can get photographs, we can do all of that stuff. You're not allowed to do that as a civilian. Do you have
Okay.
to tell them that you're recording them? Legally, yeah. But let's say
Okay.
you record them anyway. So what? You recorded it. My camera happened to be on at the time that the officer came up and did his dumb shit.
Okay.
Fight that in
So
court.
let me brother Be Easy's got a question. That's why I asked, because they either want you to turn off the camera or confiscate it. Can they confiscate my camera?
No, not legally. No.
Okay. Okay.
They don't have a legal right to do so unless you're committing a crime with that camera,
Right.
which they haven't even identified that. And the only reason why they would probably try to confiscate your camera is because they had plans on doing something that was out of whack or
Right.
outside of the law. So they weren't operating under the color of the law by asking you to turn your camera off, because that's not breaking the law, having a camera on.
Right.
But if they're going to do something illegal and they don't want you to get that footage, that would make sense to me, that they would tell
Right.
you to turn your camera off.
Right.
But no, there's no legal grounds for an officer to tell you to turn your camera off. You want to leave your dash cam on, you want to leave your body cam on, because you can buy body cams.
Okay.
Keep it on.
Okay. Okay. So if they ask for my camera, what should I say?
No, you can't have it.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
my camera breaking the law?
Right.
Am I breaking the law by possessing a camera? Is it against
Right.
the law to have a camera that's running at the time with audio and visual?
Right. Right.
If the answer is no, the answer is no.
Okay. Just want to make sure we got it straight. Brother D, JP, the aspiring matriarch. Brother D, can you explain suicide by cop, the training, and how it can be used against our people?
Ooh.
That a little heavy?
Well, I've been in a lot of incidents where it was obvious suicide by cop. Are we trained for that? Yes. So don't let anybody tell you they're not trained for dealing with mentally ill people either, because they'll tell you that in a heartbeat. Oh, we need more training. All this training shit that they keep talking about, we already have that training. I can show you a transcript right now of my training. I went through more training than most people in law enforcement. A lot more.
Right.
But it's not a training issue. So, yes, we are trained. We're trained to deal with mentally ill people. We deal with people all the time where it's obvious that they want to force police officers to shoot them, and like they'll point a firearm at us or something, or charge us with a knife or whatever. We're trained for that. We've had incidences. I've been at a couple. One in particular, I guess about 8 years ago. We're out there all damn day trying to talk this guy into putting this big ass butcher knife down. And we were told that he has mental illness, he wasn't on his meds and stuff like that. So we already went into police mode. We knew how to deal with that. This guy has mental illness, and we have to deal with him a little bit differently. And it got to a point where we actually had the SWAT team come out there.
Oh, okay.
And you know, when they come out, because I was special operations as well, when we come out, we don't plan on taking no prisoners.
Right.
The police officers have already exhausted all the levels of law enforcement that they require, and
Right.
they're still not budging. So then when we come out, chances are you ain't gonna make it.
Right.
But in this instance, this guy, he wound up getting shot up. We were out there for 15 hours. SWAT team came out also. He decided he wanted to lunge at an officer with this damn knife. You know, 15 hours is a long time for people to be sitting out there trying to talk somebody down from this
Right.
situation. And it also sounds like we spent a lot of time understanding this guy has a mental illness and medication. Now, who is trained to deal with somebody that's mentally ill in that fashion? Who? Is it a psychiatrist?
Good question.
Is it a psychologist?
Mm.
Who's trained? to talk
Right.
somebody out of not lunging with a knife and or
Right.
running out here mass killing people and shooting up the place. Who's trained for
Right.
that? I haven't heard nobody identified saying that they are trained for that shit. Nobody.
Right.
So police officers, we deal with the threat. So if the threat happens to be your cuckoo and cocoa puffs, and you decide you're gonna shoot at us or you're gonna come lunging with a knife, our job is to protect you. You know, that's what our job is. But let's really understand what the real police department was designed for, which nobody wants to talk about. Police was designed to capture runaway slaves. That was the real
Wow.
intent of law enforcement. Nobody wants to say that shit, but that's what police is. Police means to collect and
Wow.
gather up.
Wow.
So since these jackasses and these racist motherfuckers don't want to say what this fucking
Wow.
badge means, that's what the fuck it
Wow.
means. That's what it means.
Wow.
Catch the
Wow.
runaway slaves. And what are they doing now? They're out here
Wow.
policing black folks in our own neighborhoods.
Wow.
Remember back in the day when we policed our own neighborhoods? You came in there acting foul,
Yeah.
you got dealt with the neighborhood. We didn't down 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nationwide, we didn't down 911. We jacked that nigga
No.
up,
Yeah. I remember
fucking up our
one
neighborhood.
time, I remember there was a dude, there was a guy in Chicago, man. In Chicago, they had this guy had jumped on this little girl, man. And they let the police handle it, man. And the police didn't do nothing, man. They let the guy walk. And next thing you know, the guy just disappeared, right? so this film crew went back there and said, "Hey, whatever happened to so and so who jumped on that little girl?" And the people from the neighborhood was like, "We don't know. We don't."
Who
But
you talking about?
yeah. We can tell you where he is, but we don't know, right? We don't know. It's like same thing like Mr. T. He's from Chicago too. So he said, "Hey, yeah, somebody jumped on his mom." He said, "I can tell you where he's at, but I can't tell you what happened to him." But he ain't jumping on nobody else no more, right? Yeah, we used to, man. I want you, hey, Brother D, hold on, because I want you to get to that question I was gonna ask you, man. But let me get through these chats real quick. I was gonna ask that my next question. Okay, we got you that, Brother Be Easy. In California, you have to inform any person that they're being filmed. You probably right, Bees. You probably right about that. Sister G, just like military can't talk about UFOs until after they retire. Yeah. Sister G and Brother D. So then can they make you exit your vehicle or search your car legally? Right? And then last one, Sister G said the negotiator. They can't make you exit your car, or they can, but you already answered that question by saying you should just comply. That's your safest bet, even if you know things are you didn't do anything. That's what you
If
said earlier. You should comply with
Yeah,
what they're
because
doing.
it's a fine line between whether the officer is being rogue, the officer is being a rogue officer, or whether he's
Okay.
complying with the color of the law. So if he has reason to believe that you need to exit your vehicle so that they can have a consequent search or what have you, that means he already knows that there's something that has occurred already, or he has enough evidence to decide that something's wrong. I need to search this vehicle, and he might need you to exit the vehicle. In general, them telling you to get out of your vehicle is you don't have to get out of your vehicle. They got to give you a reason for why you're getting out of your vehicle. First of all, you stopped me in the first damn place, and you didn't even tell me why you stopped me. Or even if you did, I didn't do what you just said I did, and I'm not getting out of my vehicle, and I'm not rolling my window down. I'm going to put my ID up against the window, and you're going to have to read it from the window.
Okay.
You haven't broken a law when you do that. And they have no
Right.
right to bust your windows out and snatch you out of the car and do all that kind of stuff. They don't have a right to do that.
trying to get you, trying to blow you up, brother. Dang, can't trying to blow you up, make you the man. Okay. Well, let me say this. You see, we out here, we're dropping jewels. Not we, excuse me, brother Daniel's dropping jewels because he's the one with the experience, knowledge, and know-how. I'm just the one with a little bit of experience, but he's the one that actually has both sides of the fence covered here. So what I would do if I was you guys is take notes on what he's saying, and you have somebody and you know a young brother out or sister out in the street, tell them to watch this on the replay and take notes. Get your little pen and piece of paper so you can know from both sides of the street what you should be doing. All right. And if you don't take notes and you got a guy here that can tell you how to navigate through the situation, whose fault is it? Right? Whose fault is it? Okay, brother D. What did I do here? Oh yeah, that's not what I want to do. Uh oh, here we go. All right, so now I want to ask you the question I wanted to ask you before. I'm gonna get to your question in a second, be easy, but I want to get to this question. How can a person, a regular person, we don't know nothing about law enforcement, how would we know when or recognize the signs of when an officer is stepping over his authority or stepping outside of his authority by requesting things from us or trying to make us talk about an issue or something like that?
Well, if you know nothing about the law or law enforcement, then you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know which way to look, or whether you're just going to assume because this guy has a badge that he's doing what he's supposed to do. But
Right.
a lot of times they're not. But they don't know if you know or not either, because they don't know what your level of knowledge is as far as law enforcement or the law either. They're just
Right.
taking a chance, thinking that you're not a police officer in regular clothes, or you're not an attorney, or you're not a judge. They don't know. They're just taking a chance that I'm going to get off just because I got a badge and a gun. So generally, you're just going to have to use your better judgment. If you know something is wrong, hopefully you know the difference between right and wrong. And if the guy is doing something right or wrong, or maybe it's a female officer doing something right or wrong, I hope you have enough judgment to realize what's right and what's wrong. If you don't, then you're at the mercy of that person standing outside your vehicle or standing in front of you with a badge, because you have to go with whatever they say at that point.
Right.
Let's do a little research. We're on the damn internet all the time. We're on our phones all the time. Information is more available today than it ever was back in the day. We didn't have computers. We didn't have phones. Everybody got a damn phone. I had a phone because I could afford to have one back in the day when phones first came out. Most people didn't have cell phones. So let's be realistic. Let's do the internet information and look up shit that really matters and stop fucking around with this TikTok and this. You know what I'm saying? Because the information is there. Everything that I'm talking about can be looked up.
Right.
Everybody can look up all the stuff I'm talking about. It's public now. I'm not going to talk about any top secret stuff that requires you to have a security clearance. I would never do that.
Right.
But I can talk about general knowledge that's easy to look up. You know what I mean?
I hear you, brother.
But at the end of the day, your safety is just as damn important as that officer's safety, and don't think it's not. So whatever you got to do to protect yourself, do so. If you got to fight with an officer, then damn it, fight for him. But don't be out there fighting with him just because you don't like being arrested for some shit you done did. If you know you fucked up, you fucked up. If you're not going to win, you're not going to win.
Right.
But because we have a reputation for kicking ass and taking names. So you come through DeKalb County, make sure you come through correct. You will get your fucking ears stumped together on that dumb nigga shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, same thing in LA. Same thing in LA, Long Beach, Compton, and Watts, man. They're gonna get you, man. They're gonna get you.
Make sure you're doing the right thing. And I'm saying for the most part, most people are. But if you know you're riding dirty and you're doing something wrong, and I didn't mention what something that you mentioned before. Let's say you do get pulled over,
Okay.
and let's say you have a firearm on you.
Okay.
You ain't supposed to have one. What do?
Yeah.
You let the officer know you got a gun, even if you have a permit to carry. Let the officer know you have a gun and where it's located,
Okay.
so that if he does see the firearm and you didn't tell him, then he's gonna be wondering why you didn't tell him. First of all,
Right.
so he's gonna fear for his safety. And like I said, we have a lot of rogue officers out here that will shoot you for
Yeah.
anything,
Right.
reaching for your keys, your wallet, or whatever. Let them know, officer, I do have a firearm. Whether you have a permit or not, I have a firearm on me. It's on my left side. It's on my right side. It's wherever it's at. I'm not reaching for it. Now, he may ask you to exit the vehicle so that he can disengage you of that firearm. That is legal,
Right.
which that's definitely his safety and yours at that point. I've taken firearms off of people before, and a lot of times they didn't tell me they had them.
Oh.
That's the purpose of us searching them in the first place. We want to make sure they don't have any weapons, anything that can harm us or anyone else, because otherwise we can't continue with the investigation or do anything else. So I've taken firearms off people, and
Right.
some folks got locked up and some folks didn't.
Right.
And a lot of times they didn't tell me they had a gun because they're so discombobulated with getting pulled
Right.
over in the first place. They probably not even think about, damn, I got a gun on me, by the way.
Right.
Or sometimes they do have one. They be like, oh shit. They start doing all this stuff and trying to hide it under the seat.
Right.
And that's what I'm telling people.
All right, brother. We got a couple questions, man. Brother, be easy. Should more black people consider a career in joining their local police force? What do you think, Brother D? Did you hear me? Oh, I think your connection went out, man. Brother D, are you there? Oh, you muted yourself, man. Brother D. Are you there, Brother D? I think you lost your connection, brother. I think you lost your connection. Okay. Let's let him get his connection back, man. I can see him down here. So when he gets his connection back, he'll he's frozen. Oh, okay. Sister G said he's frozen. Okay. Well, when he gets it all cleared up, he'll come right back up. Brother, be easy. Are comfortable speaking about dirty cops that receive money from criminals and help guns and drugs to be distributed in the hood? Well, be easy, brother. It's dirty people in every business, brother. So I'm sure that Brother Daniel is definitely not dirty like that. So, but yeah, it's a problem everywhere, brother. Because it's dirty insurance salesmen. There's dirty, bankers. There's dirty everything, brother. So, the problem is you can't hold the whole police department down just because they got a couple of people in there that ain't no good. I mean, people slip through the cracks of any organization, brother. Judas slipped through Jesus' organization. The devil slipped through God's organization. I mean, people can slip through the cracks, brother, of a well-meaning organization. So, with that being said, we got to judge the individual, right? We got to judge the individual. And then when they get into a group, we got to judge the group. Even though in the group, they might have everybody in the group might not be with what the group wants to do, but if they don't say anything, then they going along with the group, right? Some of these black officers don't know what's going on. Some of the black officers participate in this stuff. So it just depends, brother. It depends. Sister G, be easy. The government allowed drugs and weapons to be distributed in the hoods. Yeah, at one time they were all working in cahoots. And Brother Daniel will tell you his story about how they had him working on that situation, and then he was like, "What? I thought we were supposed to be burning this contraband," and they didn't. They flew it into the U.S. Fact, brother, be easy. Facts, bro. Brother, be easy. I agree. Dirty politicians, dirty agents, everything. It's everywhere. That's why I want Brother Daniel to elaborate on what it is. See, because a lot of you younger guys don't know what it looks like when a cop is just being dirty. You think all the cops are dirty that way, and you're so used to them being dirty that you don't know what it looks like when they doing stuff out of line. See, back in the days, we didn't know either. What these sheriffs would do before they whooped on you, they would take their badge off, they would take their name tag off, they would put it in the car, and then they would get out there and they would tussle with you. You know what I mean? Or they would do whatever they was gonna do. You know what I mean? And so they would manhandle you. And so we recognize what that was back then. Nowadays, they a little smoother with it. They're a lot smoother with how they do it. You know what I mean? And so you have to be up on your own rights, right? You got to be on your own rights. If you out here, and I said this before on other videos, if you out here as a black person and you don't know your rights in the state you in, I think Brother D is trying to come back up. Brother D, can you hear me? You good?
I don't know if you can see or hear me though.
I can see and hear you perfect, brother.
Okay, sorry about that, man. The computer
Sorry,
just
brother.
went black.
Sorry, brother. We know the devil is busy, brother. We know.
Yeah.
They don't want
Hard
you.
at
They don't
work.
want you to get this information out, man. We know that, brother. So it's all good. I expect all kind of different stuff, man. So that's no problem, brother. But I was just telling the people here, man, that that they need to be able to recognize when these officers are doing stuff that's out of line, man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of younger guys don't really know what that looks like. In other words, like your wife was saying about they tell you to get out of the car, and they don't give you a reason why they're telling you to get out of the car. Then you recognizing that I may have to get out of the car just because I don't want to alarm this person and make them fear for their safety and them to do something crazy. So I'll go ahead and comply, but I recognize already that this is not the way it's supposed to be going. Or, in other words, and that, like you said, they say, "Is that your phone? Are you recording me? Give it to me now. Stop recording right now." That's another one. When they tell you stop recording me right now, what do you do, Brother D? What do you do?
You keep on recording. And you ask them, I mean, it's going to be a stupid question, but you ask them, well, why are you so concerned about me recording you? Are you
Right.
planning on doing something nefarious? Why are you even asking me that? I have a
Right.
right to record wherever I want to. If I'm a bird watcher, or if I just want to, record the neighborhood, or because I'm having a nice day and you just screwed it up
Right.
by pulling me over, I don't have a right to do that. That's against the law. I'm not gonna
Right.
cut it off because you want me to cut it off. Why are
Right.
you asking me to cut it off? That's the real question. Why?
Right. Exactly. And probably most likely they won't answer you, give you a good reason.
No, they're gonna give you an attitude and they're gonna act like
Right.
they're justified in doing so, and they're not. That's not
Right.
within the color of the law.
Right.
So let's keep in
Well,
mind that these people are sworn officers. They know what the law is. They know what they're supposed to do. We have strict guidelines that we have to follow. So don't act like they're stupid about it. They're acting stupid, and not knowing that they're acting stupid is two different things. They actually know they're being stupid, but they don't give a
right.
fuck because they think they're gonna get away with it.
Right.
And they
In
normally
most
do
cases.
if they are
In most
Caucasian.
cases. In most cases. Now I had officers stop me. Was it LAPD or sheriff? Because where I live, they overlap. So
Right. Concurrent jurisdiction.
right. So I think it was a sheriff. And so black officer. And so he stopped me, and he pulled me over. I was rushing to a meeting at the temple. I was rushing, and so I was speeding. I was wrong. I was wrong as hell. So yeah, you know what I mean. So he pulled me over. He pulled me over, and he said, "You know why I pulled you over?" That's the question they ask you a lot of times out here. Do you know why I
Yeah.
pulled you over? Right?
No, I
And I
don't.
said,
No, I don't. Tell me.
yeah. I
Fill me
said,
in.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. And then um, he said you were speeding. You were speeding, so I pulled you over. So check this out, brother D. So I had all kind of tapes and books, Mr. Farrakhan in the back of my vehicle, right? So he's looking through the vehicle, and he I mean, not he didn't open the doors, but he was looking, looking around the vehicle. So he saw all of that paraphernalia, and he said, so he asked me a mind bender. He said, "What should I do? What should I do?" He said, "Should I give you a ticket or should I let you go?" He said, and so he left it. He left it for me to decide. He's like, in other words, you got all this information. You're supposed to be a righteous person. What should I do in this situation? Kind of like when they went up to Jesus. Hey, do should let's stone this lady, right? What should we do? Should we stone her? What should we do? Right. So he asked me, hey, what should I give you this ticket? I said, give it to me. If you think I deserve a ticket, then give it to me. If you think I deserve it, give it to me. And he didn't give me the ticket. He did not give me that ticket that time. So that was that time, right? Then I had a time where these two white boys pulled me over. Two white boys pulled me over, and I ran a stop sign. I was on my way home, brother D. I was like, man, I'm gonna go play some basketball. Ran the stop sign, right? Neighborhood stop sign, and they pulled me over. Same situation, except for they didn't ask no questions, brother. They gave me a ticket, man. They held me out there. They gave me a ticket. They made sure they held me up and gave me a ticket, man. I was like, okay, I understand. I can understand them being like that with me over there. So I didn't even have no thing. But my point is, sometimes they will ask you things, right? And they will try to get you to incriminate yourself. And it goes back to what you said. Just be quiet. I am, it was only because God put that on my heart to say that I opened my mouth. But the white boys didn't even ask me nothing, man. They just came out and said, hey, you ran that stop sign. Hold on. And they held me there. Now, let me ask you a question, brother D. Now, this is what I really want to know, brother. What are y'all doing when y'all have us sitting there for 15, 20, 30 minutes? You got to just sitting there out there on the curb, brother. What are y'all doing?
When we're just sitting on the curb, or we have you pulled over.
You have us pulled over, and you have us sitting on the curb. You know the McDonald's is hot. You know the Burger King is hot, and you got us pulled over, and you got us sitting there waiting on the curb. What is going on, brother? What's happening?
Well, I can't speak in it. You know, I can only speak generally. A lot of times, the officer is just trying to do his police report while he's sitting there with you, which is not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to handle the call and move on to the next call. But a lot of times, they don't give a damn about inconveniencing you and your day. So they will sit there and write a whole goddamn police report, eat their sandwich, call their girl up, do the whole nine. Yo, what y'all playing ball this weekend? All that bullshit, because they don't have a problem with inconveniencing you, because you can't leave. Because if you leave, then they're gonna run behind you and create some other bullshit. So they ain't doing shit they supposed to be doing. I'm telling you, because it only takes a couple of minutes to handle a traffic stop, a couple of minutes to move on to the next. And it depends on where you at in the country. In my
Right.
precinct, I have one of the worst precincts in the entire state of Georgia and in the entire United States. We handle more calls rapidly. We
Right.
listen to the fucking radio before we come to work, so we know what kind of bullshit we got to deal with when we get
Right.
there. We're already 25 calls pending before we even show up.
Wow.
And we listen to the radio on the way home after we
Wow.
did our shift because we might get called back.
Wow.
So that's how ridiculous it is. You see all this TV shit where these officers be going to a diner, eating dinner and lunch and hanging out. Where they do that at? You know, like, you better eat before you go to work. Cause your ass ain't eating it. They eat, nigga.
Not next year.
You're with one hand sandwich in the other. You better be on some shit like that. Cause
You gotta
yada
have
yada on the radio, you know, all of that.
uh,
That shit out. You ain't eating. That's why
hold
we
on,
look
man.
crazy as hell when we get out the damn car, because we ain't eating. I done lost a lot of weight looking around the foods out there,
Man. Oh man. I thought y'all got to eat free, man.
Shit, we in the worst part of Georgia, man, and we got 1 or 2 places that give us some free grub. Everybody else was like, nigga, you pay all this shit, you eat shit. You know, we like, I was gonna get a break. No breaks here,
Hold on,
man.
brother D. Let me get to some of these chats, man. Let me get to some of these chats. Brother, be easy. But if you don't get out of the car where I'm from in Cali or Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose area, most cops consider that non-compliance and cases guns get drawn. What can you do then? Well, he already said, brother, be easy. Just comply. Just comply with what they're asking you for. Even though you know they shouldn't, or they not giving you a good reason to get out of the car, just for your own safety. Brother Daniel already said you should just comply with them until you're at a reasonable point where you can start trying to, make your way back into safety. Am I right, Brother D?
Yeah, I mean, my first suggestion is just because the officer's being a jackass don't mean that needs to turn you into one. So stay calm, because you don't want him to escalate the situation, and you don't want to escalate it.
Right.
But be aware,
Right.
because I mean, common sense is common sense. You already can tell if somebody about to do something foul.
Right.
So whether it's an officer or not, if they trying to do something foul, your life still depends on it, man. So you got to take whatever action you think is necessary, just like he gonna take with you if you get
Right.
foul. So you need to use the same juxtaposed attitude when you're dealing with things like this, because even when I go out, I'm still a certified peace officer. I'm still going to be armed, and I'm still going to be apprehensive if an officer pulls me over.
Right.
Because I don't know what kind of foul ass shit he going to pull.
Right.
He's going to have a damn problem if I get pulled over. He's going to have a problem.
Right.
He created that problem.
Right. Okay.
But like I'm saying, the average person, don't get yourself hurt out there, because you got a lot of officers out here that don't mind hurting you,
right,
and doing things to you on the side of the road. So
right,
just be cognizant of that, and if you got to take off running, goddamn it, take off running.
right.
You ain't doing nothing wrong. They're gonna shoot you in the back, which we're not allowed to do, but they do it all the time. The guy got shot in the back a couple years ago for child support because he got in a car. The racist white officer didn't like the idea that he got away from.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they could have just went to his house, right? Right.
Yeah. Let me tell you this stupid ass story. I got into a police situation. We had just got to work, and it came over the radio. An officer showed up at this house for whatever reason. Nobody knew over the radio why the hell he was there in the first place, but apparently he got called there. It was a 911 call that he got. And we went over there, and all of a sudden he said, "Oh shit, he ran out the house, he's on the run, blah 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 blah," and he's going nuts over the damn radio. Everybody, when that happens, everybody flushes to their location to find
Wow.
out who the suspect is. And he said it, we talking radio code. So he said a radio code like a officer in distress code.
Right.
So everybody's gonna come. You're gonna have
Right.
other precincts, you're gonna have other departments,
Right.
everybody, oh, we ain't having that. So um I roll up, one of my sergeants is coming the other way, he's on the SWAT team. He stops, I stop, I see the dude running across, and we couldn't find it. He just disappeared. Just like
Right.
in smoke, right? So everybody start paroling the area, looking around. We didn't see anything. So after about 5-10 minutes, um, we hear Carl over the fucking radio again. The same dude. Oh, he's on the back of the bus. I just seen him get on the bus. One more.
School bus?
No, it was a regular transit bus.
Okay.
This nigga was laying in, they have like the back door. You
Right.
get off the bus. He was laying upside down. And then I'm hauling that. I mean, squad cars hauling ass everywhere, right? I roll up. I see this nigga as I'm passing because I stopped my squad car in the middle like it was like a turn lane. I jumped the fuck
Right.
out there. And I ran over there. Get the fuck out of the bus. Get the fuck out the bus, right? And it's squad cars everywhere. The bus driver went open the back door. So we ran to the front of the bus. Open the fucking door. He went over the door, right?
Right.
But he opens the back door and lets this motherfucker out.
Oh.
I'm like, you son of a bitch. So now I done left my squad car in the middle of the street. I'm running across all this traffic
Right.
into a housing complex. This nigga's he's got at least 200 yards ahead of me. But I'm a fast dude. He said, oh, this old nigga ain't gonna catch him.
Right.
I was like, and he ran up in there, and I don't know where he went. He disappeared. I didn't see him. Only thing I seen was the sole of his shoe turning the corner.
Right.
And it just so happened the sheriff department was over there serving a warrant for somebody else. And one of the other officers, he was hiding in the shed or whatever. They got him out of there and brought him out. But the white officer that initially had the call, we're asking him, what the hell was this all about? Because somebody came out with a damn movie camera. Like they worked at the news station and shit. And this guy was handcuffed, and this white officer slapping him in the head and punching him in the face. I say, camera. We're on camera. And I was like, I told my sergeant, I said, Sarge, I got to go get my car. It's still on the boulevard. I'm going to get my shit. I'm not sticking around for this dumb shit. So that goes to show you, they talk about officers not saying anything, but we do. But when they in a different, complexion, and it gets passed over, and nobody pays attention to us saying shit when it's happening. So what did the whole situation, what was that about? And I keep telling parents to stop doing this. They use 911 as a parenting tool because children don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is what all of this was about. All this police activity, all these squad cars running all over the place.
Wow.
And I said, ma'am, you please don't dial 911 for that. We're out here. We got people shooting each other.
Right.
Stabbing each other, doing all kinds of stuff. And you talking about your kid won't go to school?
Yeah.
And I'm chasing this dude. I think he just robbed something.
Right.
He did something major. You know what I mean? So
Right.
But the officer shouldn't have came over the radio like that. It was a major. He should have just let the kid run out of the house.
Right.
He didn't want to go to school. He runs out of that. But no, it was, I'm white and I say so you don't run away from me. I'm going to get on the radio and make it seem like it's something even worse. And that's what happened. We had all this police activity for nothing. So
Wow.
sorry, I gotta say all these stupid horror stories, but most officers ain't gonna talk like this. They're not
No,
gonna tell you all this
yeah,
dumb
no,
shit.
man. We need somebody that's gonna tell us what's going on from the inside, man.
Yeah.
Let me get to some of these chats, man. Brother, be easy. In the early 2000s, I was in Oakland on East 14th Street. Had an ounce of weed on me before it was legal, and about what's that? $1,000. Man, you was doing it, be easy. God, uh, they
High
threw me in
rolling.
the back seat for about 30 minutes, took my money and my weed, and let me go. Yeah, you know how they do in Oaktown, man.
That's
They don't
nationwide.
play, man. Everybody got to eat too.
That's
Everybody got to eat
nationwide,
too.
brother.
Sister G, that'd be easy. You were dealing with crooked cops. They harass all the D boys. They know they can take your money and drugs. Sometimes they let you go. Sometimes they take your life. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about it, Sister G. Sister Brother, be easy. Besides this video, what and where is a good source for citizens to find out about their rights and learn about the law and law enforcement so there's a better understanding of legality? Brother, be easy. Don't you know that this man right here, I'm trying to get him to put a course together. I'm trying to get him to put a class together so he can take you right out of high school. He can take you right out of high school and tell you all your rights, everything you need to know with a law enforcement encounter. Yeah, I just gave him the title of his new book, a title of his new course. Everything you know that you need to know about an encounter with law enforcement. There it is right there. So we're gonna stay on the be easy. We'll stay on Brother D, but you know, if you want to go the hard way and you're gonna look it up a lot for yourself, you go on the internet and look up your rights as it relates to your state, the state you're in. Because like you said, it's different laws for different states. Ain't that right, Brother D?
That's correct. That's correct. There's a lot of laws that are kind of synonymous with every state, but everybody has their own interpretation on how they want to create that law in their particular county, state, or locality. So be aware of that.
Okay.
Because like California, they got some wickety whack laws,
Yeah.
especially as it relates to drugs and firearms. And New York City is another place where they're wickety
Right.
whack.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, I mean,
Yeah.
it's you just gotta pay attention to the law. The information is out there. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
So you can learn a lot of stuff on the internet. There's a lot of resources that we use in law enforcement on the internet as well that we look up just to keep our heads up to snuff. I'm not gonna
All
tell
right.
you what they are, but
All right, Brother D. I got a real important question. Real important question for you, brother.
okay.
Do police really love donuts? And what is your favorite donut, brother?
Let me
You got
tell
to
you
thank Brother
something.
Be Easy for that one.
Nigga, please. Nigga, please. Hey, I'm gonna tell you.
hey, let me say it this way, man. You look like a plain cake man to me, man. You look like a plain cake man or a glazed man to me.
If you want to get cussed out, go to the police department, show up with a box of donuts. Everybody gonna cuss your ass the hell out. Trust me.
It ain't like
You better
Fridays,
not
man.
be in no donut shop. You better not. You better not. Trust. They gonna blast you.
Brother Be
As soon as
Easy.
you get out your car, they gonna be all through the precinct. Like, oh no, he ain't. Stop that motherfucker now. I'm gonna go ahead with that shit.
I knew that would get you going, Brother D.
Real
Brother Be
talk.
Easy said, but here, now, we got a serious question, man. Put the course together ASAP, brother. What are you waiting for? Brother D, they saying, what are you waiting for, man? Get this course together, man. So we can start teaching these young dudes, man, where to go and what to do, man.
I don't know. I might have to keep doing stuff like this incrementally because I got so much content, brother. Not just law enforcement. I have real estate content. I have banking content. I have credit stuff. I don't even have my channel up.
Yeah.
I'm sliding stuff across your channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I need to be sending people over there, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
So a lot of it, I'm still in business, so a lot of it has a lot to do with I don't have a lot of time because it takes me a
right.
lot of. I'm dealing with other brokers that work for my company, and I have a partner who's also he's in California,
Okay,
but I'm in Georgia. So any
okay,
deal that comes through has to cross my table. I have to underwrite it and make sure it's good before
right.
I start talking to the lenders. I'm talking to attorneys every day and all day. So when you see me doing stuff like this, it's because I actually took the time out and carved it out because
And
I
we
am
appreciate
busy as hell.
we appreciate you, man.
Trust
Yeah,
me.
for, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, I'm gonna stay on this here. You heard him tell he's saying a whole bunch of so bro Clarence, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm doing this $8 million deal, so I don't have time right now. I'm gonna stay on him, be easy. I'm gonna stay on him. So we'll stay. Me and Sister G, we'll stay on him. He'll put that course together. Um, Let me see. I think you got another one. Brother, be easy. Crawl before you walk. Keep producing great content. Drop jewels whenever necessary. Thank you, brother. Be easy. We appreciate you, and we
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
how you appreciate this man coming and dropping these jewels on us
Yes,
because
sir.
he's got a lot of experience on a lot of different things, and he takes the time out to come and talk to people here on this channel, and like people that come here, they want the truth, man. So I'm glad that the brother is on my team, man. Brother, be easy. No one has time. It has to be created. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm. I'm gonna stay on him. Be easy. I'm gonna stay on him, man. He got that pretty smile. He think he gonna get out of it. No, he ain't gonna get out of it. I'm gonna stay on him. So don't worry about it, brother. I stayed on him. We got it. We got him we got him today. Look at all the jewels he dropped today. So I realized that I just gotta stay on him because he's so busy. He's got 10 million things to do. So I just have to stay on him sometimes. I mean, sometimes I get caught up because the week before I got caught up. What else, Brother D? What else can you tell us, man, about just encountering law enforcement and how to be able to walk away from it? Is there any serious situations that you can think of that could have turned out a different way if the person just would have behaved different? Maybe it would have went a different way. Like I can't see Eric Gardner's situation or Trayvon Martin or George Floyd. I can't see any of those situations going any different. I mean, they were complying and they still got killed. So I don't know, but I mean, is there a situation where you can say, well, if you behave differently, things might turn out better?
Well, I agree with you on what you just said. I feel the same way. There's nobody, even in law enforcement or attorneys, that could look at those situations and see there's something that the person could have did. You know what I'm saying
Right.
to change that outcome.
Okay.
But in general, I would say be as compliant, but be cognizant of what's going on around you and who's doing it, whether they have a badge or not. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, you have to go home too.
Right.
So if it means you got to run, if it means you got to fight, if it means you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Putting a badge, somebody having a badge doesn't change the dynamic. What are you going to do if you get stopped by a road rage person that don't
Right.
like the fact that you got in front of them or something like that? What are you going to do if they get out their car and run up on you? You got to use your common sense. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
Just putting a badge on and having a gun doesn't change that dynamic.
Right.
Save yourself.
Right.
But what I'm saying is most cops are not going to approach you in an adversarial manner necessarily. Um, so be compliant. When they start showing that they're not compliant or they're not being reasonable, that doesn't mean escalate the problem by
Yeah.
getting your attitude on your shoulders.
Yes. That's what I want
Uh,
to cover.
keep your calm, even though his shit is fucked up, you know,
Yeah.
because you're not going to increase your longevity
Right.
or create a calm situation by getting uncalm yourself.
Right.
You know he's full of shit. You know he's doing dumb shit. Be cognizant of that
Right.
and still stay on your level, because escalating it and going off saying, "Oh, you son of a bitch," this is
Right.
bullshit and all of that. Now you didn't send him over the cliff, and he's going to
Yeah.
use his badge to do whatever he wants to do after that, and it may be totally unreasonable. So keep yourself on a swivel and stay reasonable yourself. You can always deal with him later on another way. You know what I mean? But don't have court on the street, because we're not gonna have court on the street with you either. We're not
Yeah.
gonna be judge, jury, and executioner on the street unless you take it there. If you don't
You're
bring
right,
it there,
man. You're
then
right.
we ain't
You're
gonna do
right.
it.
Let me get to this other chat real couple chats real quick, man. Brother Be Easy to Do. What are your thoughts on defunding the police sloganeering? Don't answer that right yet, Brother D. Hold on, because he came right back with another question and he pretty much answered that. Hold on. A touch of uniqueness. We thank and appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. A touch of uniqueness. We appreciate you. Stop on by, please like and subscribe if you can. If you think we're telling the truth over here, if you think we're doing something that's good work here, please help us share it so that we can, so our people have a place to go when they ain't afraid. They ain't got to be afraid that, oh, white people heard them say. A lot of times, Brother D, I don't even put, I avoid, I'll just like a lot of people's stuff. I don't put that I actually went to their page, because I know that they'll think I don't want their uh, subscribers to think, oh, this person he's with him and he feels this way. I don't want to even put the pressure on them. So I just like their stuff, man. But here, you can come here and talk about whatever. You can talk about white people. You can talk about black people. You can talk about Asians. You can talk about LGBT. You can talk about anybody, as long as you're telling the truth. As long as it ain't in a what's the word I want to say? Like, you inciting violence, you can come and tell the truth here, man. We're gonna always take the truth. Uh here's the quick. Now here's where I want you to get into it, Brother D. Brother Be Easy. Defund the police is good slogan, because it is not a good slogan. Sorry about that, Brother Be Easy. Defund the police is not a good slogan because it has been misconstrued and weaponized. It's really calling for the reallocation of police funds, abolishing instead, and not abolishing the police entirely. So that's what I wanted to get into. Okay, now I was going to make that clear too, Brother Be Easy. Thank you for clearing that up, because I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that wasn't the issue. Was people are saying, but I know that a lot of the Republican Party members, in particular, and Fox News people are saying that when they say defund the police, they talk about killing their whole budget and get rid of them and putting social workers out on the street to deal with domestic violence and all that. Okay, so we know, but that's what they're telling their constituents, right? They done these people crazy, right? And we as black people, we know there ain't no kind of way we could live without having the police in the black community, right? So my question to you, Brother Daniel, is what is your position, stance, or understanding, or what would you like to say about that defund the police whole merry-go-round that they got out there going on?
Well, I think what most people are speaking of when they say defund the police is the police has become, instead of a protect and serve community, they have become a uh, police. Uh, uh, how can I? They become a military occupational
Yeah,
entity.
yeah,
And this is why they're getting all of these armored vehicles that the government's not using anymore, and they're
right,
making it easy for them to buy them, and because they're expecting a revolution to occur here in the United States. It's not when it's going to happen; it's going to happen,
right,
and they want to make sure that they have a stronghold on the masses, and the
right,
masses is us.
right,
So, if you don't have a firearm, I suggest you get one. I don't care what your
Right.
thought pattern are about firearms. Get a
Right.
firearm and train with that and train your
Right.
family because the
Yeah.
revolution is coming to your fucking door, whether you want it
Yes.
to or not. And you're going to have
Yeah.
people that are going to self deputize themselves, like those folks
Right.
that went after Ahmaud Arbery and decided jogging through the neighborhood wasn't okay, and they shot him with a shotgun because they basically thought they was gonna get away with it. What do you think they're gonna get
Right.
away with when it's WROL, without rule of law?
Right.
What do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a firearm to fight this
Yeah.
battle.
Right.
If you don't have one, get one today.
Right. Right.
I don't care what your thought pattern is because you're gonna be fighting people that are not police. They're gonna be tyrants that are running up and down the street trying to get
Right.
your goods and your services from you. And
Right.
if you don't have them, they're going to run over top of you. You got to be able to protect yourself at all costs, whether it's some people with badges or people that are just rednecks.
Yeah. I remember.
You decide.
I remember that in the book. I think it's either Message to the Black Man or How to Eat to Live, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Elijah
Good book.
Muhammad was talking about. He was talking about how they're going to cut off the food supply at some point, and so you need to learn how to store food in your house. He said, but wait, that's only half of the battle. He said the next battle is you're gonna have to learn how to protect yourself. You're gonna have to board up your windows because when your neighbors smell food cooking out of your house, they're gonna try to come in and get you. So you're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
have to be able to protect yourself. He didn't say get a gun, but he definitely went all the way around to say protect yourself by any means necessary. How you had to, whatever you had to do.
You got to learn how to
So,
grow your
yeah,
food in your house. You got to learn
yeah,
how to hunt for your food. We got to go back to old school stuff that we did before we were kidnapped and brought over here. This is
yeah,
what we did. This is how we lived. It
right,
wasn't no supermarkets. Your
right,
supermarket was in woods, and that's where you get your
right,
food. You know what I'm saying?
right,
All of a sudden, we
right.
got spoiled, and now we want to go why? We don't know what to do. We'll go figure it out because you're going to be back to that lifestyle real soon. Trust me.
Oh man, brother, be easy. There are some people that believe police should be abolished, but people today are way too unruly and reckless to not have some sort of law enforcement. Well, we know we need law enforcement in the Black community. There is no doubt about that. Like brother Daniel just said, it is crazy out there, especially in our community. The people are so crazy in the head, man. They just sick. So they don't realize they've forgotten who they really are. So they just out here doing everything, living like animals. You know, might makes right? You got something, I want it. You can't defend yourself. I'm taking it. That's it, right? So yeah, we need law enforcement. So, but I agree with you, brother, that that slogan of defund the police, the Republican Party took that slogan to tell their constituents that see these crazy Negroes, they want to get rid of the police and put social workers out there, right? so they did a good job of weaponizing that slogan. But the people that got eyes to see can see that, hey, that's a crazy thing. Well, nobody, especially us in the Black community, they say we the ones that want to defund the police, especially us. We do not want to get rid of the police. We may want them to not be like Brother Daniel said. We don't want them spending $50 million on a tank, which they don't need. They don't need a tank. You got the
Who are
what's
they
up?
going to use it on? They're
Yeah,
not going to their
exactly.
neighborhood.
And you might have to use a tank every 20 years or 30 years or so, right? And then you got the not the auxiliary. Who's those people, Brother D? That they're not active military, but they're kind of like the National Guard. You got the National Guard, they got tanks. What do you need to get you a tank for? You got to pick up the phone and say, hey, we need a tank down here. They come and bring a tank down here. So why are you spending our money on that? You know what I mean? So like I said, that's my thoughts about it. So anyway, let's move on. Let's get to these chats, man. Let's catch us up. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Brother B. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Brother B. Welcome to the truth chamber. It is. Got two brothers telling you the absolute truth. Uh, brother, Sister G. Uh, better, better get cool with Pookie and Ray Ray. They already have an arsenal. Hey, I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard my live stream a couple of days ago, Sister G, where I said that the people that's keeping you safe in the black community is the gangbangers. They're the ones keeping the Russians out. They're the ones keeping the Italians out. They're keeping the Jews out. They're keeping everybody out. Well, let's just say the criminally inclined Jews, the criminally inclined Russians. They're keeping those people out. The criminally inclined WASPs. They're keeping them out because they don't want to have to deal with the gangbangers trying to muscle in on the gangbangers. So that's who's you need to really think, because if not, they would be in here really running amok in here. So yeah, they do have an arsenal. Let's see, Brother Be Easy. They already have the National Guard. Yeah, like I said, Brother B. Yeah, Brother B. They already have the National Guard. They got tanks and mortars and all that. What do you need to be buying mortars on a local police force for? You know what I mean? What do you need that for? You know what I mean? I can understand vests. I can understand stuff like that, but you buying these equipment like LAPD was buying battle rams and tanks and all that. We were like, what? Come on, man. You can't be spending that money on stuff like that. That's crazy. All right, Brother D. So let's see, because there was something else I wanted to ask you about as far as handling dealing with the police on a traffic stop. Okay, here's a good question. If I'm a passenger in the vehicle, whether I'm in the back or the side or whatever, and they tell the driver to get out, do I have any rights? As far as you know, do I have any rights in that? And by the way, we are not giving legal advice. This is just opinion. You should go and check all this stuff out for your state on your own. We are not giving legal advice. We're just telling you experience. Both of us just have experience out there in the street. So it's not legal advice. However, should you get out of a car, in your opinion, should you get out of the car if they tell the driver to get out? If then after dealing with the driver, they come around and say, okay, I need you to step out of the car. Are you within your rights to stay in the car, or should you get out of the car, like you were saying before about just complying so it doesn't escalate?
I'm going to say it this way. The officer at that point is going to be handling that as though he's handling a case. So he's safeguarding the situation the whole time. He's checking everybody out. He's involved in an investigation at that point. Whether you like the way the investigation is going or not is irrelevant. You need to comply with what he's saying, because he may pull one of you out of the car at a time. So that's a safety measure. Okay, now we have this person in custody, or we have them secure. Let's get the next person secure. Let's get the next person secure. It's a safety issue at that point. And now let's start focusing on why we stopped them in the first place and continue the investigation. Let's search the vehicle if need be. Let's search the people that we took out of the vehicle. That's the first thing that's going to happen.
Okay.
And so you got to understand that it's not all thing happening all at once. There's stages that we go through.
Okay.
We're going to start doing this, and then we're going to progress into this, and progress into this, and progress into this, until we have an all clear that everything is safe, or we have to take someone to jail, or what have you. It doesn't happen all at once like you see on TV.
Okay.
It happens in stages. So before we even show up, you didn't know that it was a 911 call. You didn't know that you were going to get pulled over. It's something that you did or that we observed to make us decide to investigate and pull you over. Or all they saw was a black face, and
right.
that was enough.
Right.
A lot of these guys are doing out here. So let's be real about that.
Right.
But if there's a 911 call, then we're already thinking about what's going to happen before we get to that call, what we need to do, because a lot of times the call does not come out with all the information that we need. And a lot of times the call comes out wrong because they're responding, dispatch is responding to a 911 call that somebody called in, and it might not even be what's going on. But when your ass get there and you find out there's a shootout, guy. I went to a call. One of my sergeants got there. He was right in front of me. I'm right behind him. It's at night. We're supposed to be getting off. We rolling up in this housing complex where there's always problems. We're over there 50,000 times a day.
Right.
And they said it was a neighbor dispute. We're coming through the driveway. What do we see? One guy on one side with an AK going, brrr,
Oh,
guy on an AK with brrr, brrr, and we damn near driving through that. What do? Throw our car reverse. My sergeant almost ran into me because he didn't know I was behind him. I threw my shit in reverse. We both hauling ass because neither one of us got AKs. So
right. Right.
I'm like, yo, I'm on the radio, got one hand on the steering wheel and the other one leaning over the damn seat. Shit, we ain't trying to get shot the hell up. We trying to
Man.
get at home. You know what I mean?
Man.
But what I'm
Man.
saying is what do you do in that situation? Well, the fight ain't over. We still got to handle that. We police, so we got to go back in there and handle that. But we need more than what we got. It was like we needed more to be in the sergeant and our
Yeah.
pistols. So we had to bring reinforcement in, which we did, and we arrested
Okay.
both guys.
Okay.
Believe it or not, nobody got killed, nobody got shot. I don't know how the hell these guys shot at each other with machine gun fire, then hit shit. That shit. I
That's how
just
they
knew I
do in
didn't
the
want to
hood.
get
They
hit.
hit everybody except the one they supposed to hit, man.
I
They
was
hit
like, I ain't
everybody
trying to
else.
catch no banana clip of nobody.
Man. Man.
So,
Man.
so
Man.
but
Okay,
we
brother D. So let's kind of recap what you were saying so far. So far you saying on a traffic stop, if they stop you and they they ask you to exit the vehicle or whatever they asking you to do within reason, you complying with that so that you don't escalate the situation even further.
right,
If you know that you have, then you said, if you know that you have done something that is illegal, if you know you've done something that's illegal, don't say anything. Ask for your
right,
lawyer. Ask
right,
for your lawyer. Okay.
right,
That way you won't, nothing you will say will get misinterpreted, anything. And because I heard a point that you said, I was listening. You said something that a lot of people miss. You already talking. They don't have to wait until they Mirandize you to say to use something you said. Now, after I Mirandize you, now we're gonna use it. No, they can use what you said before and just Mirandize you and then use what you said. I
right.
think I
That's
caught
called
that.
spontaneous utterance, and that is
Yeah.
a legal term. And what that means is you're running your damn mouth too much, but you told me enough to lock your ass up and to make your case worse than it started out. Because a lot of people will talk themselves into a bad situation
Right.
without even realizing it.
Right.
Most officers don't do this. Like we watch programs like Cops. Like you'll never see my department on Cops.
Right.
We don't do that shit.
Right.
You're stupid if you're. But we watch it to see what mistakes other officers are doing when they're handling certain cases and stuff like that. And that's the reason why we watch it. But my wife and I was watching a program several months ago, and it was this guy that got pulled over, and he got pulled over by a state trooper, and I forget where this was, Delaware, New Jersey, some damn where.
Right.
Whatever reason he got pulled over, the officer just was going to write him a warning ticket.
Right.
Had him sit in the front seat with him, and he wrote him a warning ticket. And the black guy just kept running his fucking mouth. Talking about he was a real estate investor and he did this and he did that. The guy said, well, you're free to go. You don't have to, yada, yada, yada. And this guy is trying to keep small talk And he was still sitting in the fucking car. And I was like, get your goddamn bullshit ticket and get the hell on, nigga,
Right.
and get on the road.
Right.
No. He stayed in the fucking car. And then dude kept running his ass. Okay, so you had drug trafficking down here before? You had this, you had that. He could have been down the road.
Right.
He was just running his fucking mouth.
Right.
And next thing you know, all these other officers showed up. I thought they killed the dude because they made sure he was off camera. And
Wow.
they was beating the shit out of his ass behind that car.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he wound up he was still alive, but he wound up getting arrested because he could have been going down the road with a simple warning ticket.
Right.
But he talked himself into other stuff, and they started
Right.
asking him about his previous criminal history and this, that, and the third.
Right.
And he just kept going. And spontaneous utterance. And the whole time I'm saying, get the hell out the car, get in your car, and drive off.
Right. So that's another question I want to ask you, brother. I want to ask you a question. At what point are you free to go? Because we were taught in the nation to ask certain questions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions we taught to ask was, am I free to go?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can leave, right? We don't want to just abruptly leave and then the cops say, well, you're running from evading arrest, right? So we don't want to do that. So we were taught to ask permission. Can we leave? Am I free to go? Right?
Mm-hmm.
At what point, since the average person doesn't ask that question, what should they ask or what could they say to indicate so the officer can indicate to them they can leave?
You're not leaving any room for anything when you ask, am I free to go? Are we done here?
Right.
You're to the point, can I leave? Am I free to go?
Right.
You're to the point. Now, that doesn't mean he can't lock your ass up 2 blocks down and pull you over again.
Right.
So what do you say then? So he might be a shitbird and decide, well, I'm just going to fuck with you, and every 2 blocks, I'm going to pull you over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what are you going to do? You have to take the reasonable side of the game, and you need to decide, do I want to go home tonight, or am I really dealing with a jackass?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be the determining factor of that because, but if you think it's going bad, and it looks like no matter what you do, you're going to go to jail or whatever, or he's going to do whatever, then you need to be asking for a lawyer. You need to shut the hell up, and you need to take self-preservation into account because if this person is definitely a rogue officer and they have no intention of legally taking you to jail or writing you a ticket, then you might have to fight for your life.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do. Don't sit there and let that motherfucker kill you because you think you're doing right by this police officer.
Right.
If you need to survive, survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be carried by 6 than, judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the end of the day,
Right.
I'm not trying to have a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. So I just want people to know the right way to disengage from the police. You know what I'm saying? Some of our people, they be like, snatch the ticket out of their hand and and like you said, I pull them over.
You don't want to be doing all of that.
Yeah. And so, in your opinion, as a 36-year vet, is it better to just leave off the extras and just say thank you for the ticket, thank you, officer, and just drive off like you got sense?
Yes, sir.
Or should you just or would you think it's going to be okay to have all these extras? No, see, you should have pulled me over in the first place. I was just minding my own business, but no, you want to do all this? Do you think? I mean, does that serve any purpose?
Yo, so what happens is, let's say you get a ticket. Well, that means that's a court summons. And let me tell people something else. that they may not know. When you receive a ticket, that is a court summons. That
Right.
means your ass has to show up in court.
Right.
And if you don't sign that ticket, guess what that means? That means we're going to incarcerate your ass until your court date.
I'm glad you said that.
Read
I'm
the bottom
glad
of
you
your
said
fucking ticket, and it'll say that. This is nationwide.
yes.
I don't care what part of the country you live in.
Right.
Read the bottom of the damn ticket. It's going to have that disclosure there. I had a dude, he ran a fucking stop sign. I stopped him, right? I was doing special operations that day, and I happened to stop him. I was with another officer, and he was a big dude. He, and both of us were smaller dudes. And he felt like because he was a big dude, wasn't shit gonna happen. And I said,
Man.
"Well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get your driver's license." I'm not signing that. I'm not signing shit. He balled up the ticket and threw it. I said, "Sir, I'm gonna read what this says on the bottom of the ticket. Because obviously you're not gonna read it. I'm gonna read it to you. That
Right.
you will be incarcerated if you do not sign it." He balled it up. I don't give a shit about that. I was like, okay. You have the car, put your hands behind your back. Your hands behind your back. You know what this bitch ass nigga did? He called his girlfriend or his wife, and she showed up. And I said, "Ma'am, get in your car or you're going to be arrested. You're interrupting the duties of a police officer.
Right.
Get in your car and go home."
Right.
You know what this nigga did? He started crying. 6'6", crying like a baby because he didn't want to go to jail. Too late.
Yeah, too late.
Too late. You could have took the ticket, signed it, and went to court. Because half the time the officers don't even show up in court. Guess what? The judge is gonna roll in your favor.
Throw it up. Yeah.
So,
brother, I used to work for the county of LA.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started working for the city of LA, I was working for the county of LA. And I worked in the electronic monitoring unit. So electronic monitoring is the ankle bracelet, right? Okay. Well, now they have GPS on them. They can follow them all over the place now. But back then, they had a transmitter and an ankle bracelet. So the transmitter and the ankle bracelet had a range of where it would, and once that range was broken, then they know, okay, that transmitter would call us. I worked in the monitoring center. It would call us to say, this person has broken the thing, so he's not at home anymore. That's how we knew they weren't at home, because they would if they left or they didn't get it scheduled, like we would make a schedule for them, a work schedule or something like that, so they could go to work, right? But if they was outside of those times and their thing said detached, then we know, they out, so we had to call their PO and say, hey, this person is out of range. Matter of fact, that's how the company I was working for got the whole sheriff contract, because it was three companies. One company had taken their money, taken the sheriff department's money, and just absconded. They just took off. And then the other company, like I said, when those people, they break that wireless connection, and the transmitter calls us and says, hey, this person is not in range anymore, then we're supposed to immediately follow the procedures that's set up for that person. And of course, the procedures are more stringent the higher level of criminality they have committed, right? So this other company had, and they was on 2020 for this. They had not called their alarm came through that the man had left, and they didn't call. He went out and killed. He was on trial for domestic dispute with his wife. He went out and killed her. So they dropped that company. So we had the whole sheriff department, man. We had the whole contract. Boom. Right. So anyway, and then they make you go through the sheriff vetting process where you can have no record, and they make you go through that process. But anyway, so But when I was over there, um, we had a bunch of different stuff like that where guys were on electronic monitoring, and how they got most of the guys that were on there were for DUIs. Most of the guys were for DUIs, and so what they neglected to tell those guys was, if you don't, like, a lot of them guys will, they have what they call a breathalyzer that they install in your car, and your breath has to be under a certain alcohol point or your car won't start. You have to blow into it, and if your breath is too high, you try to start the car, it won't start, right? So we had installed a lot of those things. So anyway, but what they didn't tell the guys was, if you don't blow into that thing, even when the officer stops you and tells you to blow into that thing, if you don't blow, you can refuse to blow, but you're going to go to jail. You have they can take you to jail if you refuse to blow. And a lot of people don't know this stuff. That's what I'm talking about, brother. You got to put something together, because a lot of people don't know. If you don't sign that ticket, it may be an infraction, but you have to sign that ticket. So that ticket is you getting what do they call that? What do they call that when they let you get out of jail into the trial?
That's on recognizance, or
your own recognizance or whatever. It's like that, right? And you're promising that you will appear on this date. So because of you promising you appear on this date, they're going to let you go on with your life right now. But you promised to appear on this date. But if you don't sign that, then they just can take you to jail. But see, people don't know that. I have to sign that.
And since you mentioned DUI, if you get stopped for DUI, we're going to do what's called a field sobriety test.
Right.
What is that? That means we're going to have you do a walk and turn test. We're going to have you do a series of exercises out there in a safe location, hopefully. Right. And then we're going to have you do a breathalyzer out there. Now, that's called a void. We're going to do the first one, right?
Right.
Then we're going to take you to the jailhouse. And then we're going to make you piss. That's called a void. That's giving you a break.
Wow.
And then we're going to do a blood. And we're going to take your blood, and we're going to have you blow at the county courthouse or whatever jailhouse, wherever you're located. And that equipment is going to be much more accurate than the field operation stuff that we have. Right. Now, if you decide you don't want to administer to any of those tests, that is your right as a citizen to say, I don't want to do that. But once you decide you're not doing that, then your driver's license will be automatically suspended for 1 year before you even go to court. Wait a minute, what? Your license, and we're going to take your ass to jail.
Wow.
If you decide you don't want to take the test, you don't want to take the blood test, you don't want to do this, because we have to ask them.
Wait a minute, bro. Wait. So you telling me if I decide, hey, I don't want to take that, I don't want to take the field sobriety test, you're going to suspend my license for a year
without 1 year
trial, without a trial or nothing?
Yep. That's going to be part of your case.
Huh?
That's going to be part of your case. That's what you're going to have to fight for. You're going to have to fight for being not deciding to be tested and all this other stuff. And you're automatically suspended. So now you got to fight your case without having any results, clinical results that says one way or another. Wow. But your license is suspended.
Wow.
But you shitted on yourself when you did that. And we don't give a shit.
Right.
Because we saw you doing figure eights in the middle of the goddamn street.
Right.
And you was on the right side of the road when you was on the left and the right, and you was doing figure eights. So we'll take your ass to jail, nigga.
Right.
You have to defend yourself at that point. How you going to defend yourself? You didn't even want to go through the clinical shit that we do and get checked out and prove your innocence. So fuck it. Let's take your license for a year, and then you go in court, and then you ain't got nothing to prove.
Right. Wow.
They're going to test your ass when you get there.
Right. Right.
They're going to say, okay, you want to leave?
Got him coming and going.
You pass no, nigga. I don't know if you know it. You pass no now. You said no before, and that shit what you did. You were beyond no. Get your ass back there and get that shit.
Yeah, I think that That bologna sandwich and them cold potatoes get your mind working right, huh?
And that cold ass coffee with no sugar in it. You know what I mean? But you be wanting that shit, right?
Yeah,
When they passing
man.
that shit out, that egg sandwich and shit. They got them egg sandwiches going around.
But see,
Because you got
man,
locked up on a Friday, you know you ain't seen the judge till Monday or Tuesday.
and it seemed like when they tell you that, they are so happy to tell you that, hey, you probably won't see a judge until Monday or Tuesday, man. But like, but okay, I'll take it. Nah, it's too late now. You got the cuffs on now.
Oh, we
You got
forgot it's a holiday on Wednesday.
yeah.
And he took vacation. He's on the golf course. You want some what was
Oh
your day,
man,
partner?
that's terrible, man. That is so terrible. But see, a lot of these guys, Brother D, they gotta know this stuff, man. See, you don't know. You think, oh, I'm gonna just say whatever I want to say. I don't have to do that. I know my rights. I don't have to do that. Okay, you don't have to do it, but you get a free, you get a free cot in the hot at the Great Bar Hotel, right? You know what I'm saying? Though, so you gotta know what's on both sides of whatever you're saying. You know what I mean?
Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, if you want to go there, I don't know nobody who wants to go there, but some people are crazy like that. But you know what I mean. So, but yeah, man. I thank you, brother, for coming in, man, and telling us about all of this stuff, man. You got to come back and do a follow-up class, man. And I'm not trying to shut you down now, man. If you got more stuff you want to tell us, come on and tell us. But I want to make sure that we let these young guys know, man, that you ain't no punk just because you set yourself up to go home that night. Okay? Your job, when you leave out of your house in the morning, your number one job is to come back to the house in the same way you left in the morning. That's your number one job. Right. So any way you can make that happen, whether you gotta, submit to some unrighteous demand that's, not making you go outside of your religion, you know what I mean? Then you need to just submit until the point where you back in control of the situation, and then you can write about it or make a complaint or whatever later. But you don't want to be in the field, bucking up in the field, and then you have a Rodney King situation happen to you, or you have a Trayvon Martin situation happen to you, or you have a George Floyd situation happen to you. And unfortunately, the people are so terrified of these people that they will not step in and do anything to help you. They'll film it, which is, at least they'll do that. But what the people should do is step in and do something. But they're so terrified of these people, man, that they won't step in.
Since you mentioned that, I just want to, in closing, mention something. There was an incident that I had several years ago. I went into a store. It was at night because I was watching the game, and I went and got me a 6-pack. I was like, oh, I'm going to get the game going. I got to the counter, and I had about 5 or 6 brothers of various ages standing behind me. And somebody came running in the store. This lady, she was crying, and she ran straight to the back of the store. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And this guy came in the store. He had a gun in his hand.
Wow.
And this was a Hispanic chick, and he was Hispanic. So I'm standing there, and I'm like, and I got my police shirt on, right?
Right.
I had to do something, right?
Right.
And I was off duty at the time, but we're never off duty.
Right.
So I went after the guy. I pulled my firearm out, told him to put the gun down, get outside.
Right.
And he kept the gun in his hand. So at this point, I'm waiting on him to shoot at me.
Wow.
So I can drop him.
Wow.
And he didn't shoot at me. He went outside. He still had the gun. I told him to put the gun down. He decides he wants to go back in the store and go after the girl. I said, "You're not going back in there."
Wow.
So I took the gun from him,
Right.
and the guy behind the corner, he motioned that he was going to dial 911 and all this other bullshit. But I had to act right then and there. I didn't come out there. I wanted to finish my game, drink a couple brews, enjoy the rest of the game. Instead, I got 6 niggas standing behind me that did nothing but be spectators.
Right.
Now, I already told you about what happened the other day, yesterday, with the lady that got accosted by the older dude and this, that, and that. And
Right.
the ladies is acting like I'm supposed to lock somebody up. I was like, They have another legal term called gratuitous interloper. And that's when you are out somewhere and you see a crime happening or what you view to be a crime and you intervene.
Okay.
That's called a gratuitous interloper.
Okay.
The problem with doing that, in the instance that I just mentioned, it was clear that the guy had a firearm. Now, maybe they were just playing games and they were just planning on robbing that place. I don't know.
Right.
It makes sense for them to be running in the store on domestic stuff.
Right.
But bottom line is I quelled the situation because it was presented in front of me. I knew it was a crime taking place. This guy's running around with a gun. He's chasing behind me. I had no choice but to act.
Right.
You got to be careful when you get involved in what you think is a problem if you're out in the street and you're trying to be a good Samaritan. Then you're becoming a gratuitous interloper. Now let's find out that you're wrong. About the whole situation. Now you can be criminally charged for that situation.
Right.
Because you thought you were doing right, but you really didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was just whatever appeared. It didn't look right to you, so you felt like you wanted to intervene.
Right.
What I'm seeing out here today is not that. What I'm seeing is a bunch of fucking cowards and bitch-made niggas.
Right.
That's what I'm seeing.
Right.
That could be your mama. That could be your sister. That could be your cousin. That could be your old lady.
Right.
Why the fuck are you standing there? If I was not armed, I still would have went after the guy because I'm trained in a different way. I'm a military guy. So I'm trained to disarm people.
Right.
Even as a special ops police officer. But my problem was, unarmed or whatever, none of those guys made a move. They stood right where they were at.
Right.
Because they were cowards.
Wow.
Cowards. Cowardice is not accepted in the military or the police department.
Wow.
You get your ass kicked for that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's up to you as a citizen whether you want to intervene, because then you're an interloper at that point. And you better know that you're doing the right thing when you do.
Yeah.
But if you know that something's going wrong, like I just described, somebody comes, you have to decide whether you're going to be a nice guy and try to help out. It was 6 of us and 1 of him.
Right.
So we could have took this dude down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody decided to do nothing. Except me. That's called cowardice. I'm tired of walking in the streets and seeing this every day. Cowards.
Man, well, I agree with you, brother. If you can ascertain what's actually going on and you make a decision, you need to make a decision of what you should do. And if you think you can make a difference, like this brother lost his life, George Floyd, he didn't have to, man. I mean, enough people is around where they could have at least made enough of a distraction. I'm not saying you go and attack police officers,
right?
But you make enough of a distraction so that they can't continue doing what you're looking at them doing. And you put enough pressure on them to put enough pressure on the officer that actually had his knee. I forgot his name.
Chauvin.
Chauvin. Yeah, Derek Chauvin. You put enough pressure on the other officers. When the other officers are putting pressure on him, that he needs to stop doing that. At least take you into custody. and then you can sort out everything. But I'm definitely not. And let's get it straight. Neither one of us are telling y'all to run up on some cops that y'all see doing in the line of duty and run up on them. No, we're not talking about that situation. We're talking about the extreme situation. And you can clearly see what's actually going on. They're physically killing this man, or they're physically doing something and you can clearly see what's happening. If you have a speck of not knowing what's going on, we're not telling you to intervene at all. And we're not giving you legal advice. We're just telling you the truth. So please don't go out there and say, well, Brother Clarence and Brother Daniel
That's right.
said we need to run up into you a cop, right? Okay, we were supposed to run up in here. No, you're not supposed to be running up in there. No.
All right.
We're not talking about that. So understand what we're saying. But I think your wife got a few comments, brother. Let's get to hers. Sister G, if you got a public pretender, you're going to be railroaded anyway. Bottom line, don't go to jail. There's nothing but Kamala Harris's in the system. I agree, brother Glenn. I mean, Sister G. It's a lot of Kamala Harris's in the system, but the public defender's office is really it's a ladder for attorneys to climb. So how do they do that climbing? They do that quid pro quo system, a favor for a favor. And if you let me, you take this L, and I'll remember that L later, and I'll pull you up the ladder. So that's how it goes, unfortunately, Sister G. So you're right. Sister G, and Brother D, I'm sorry, but not sorry. If I see a racist beating on my black sister, I'm all up in it. Call me Bennett. Sister G, I hear you, but we not telling you to do nothing like that. You probably got God's protection on you, and you could probably talk to somebody. You got the wherewithal to be able to talk to somebody and get them to back off. But the average black person, they just going with straight emotion into there, and next thing you know, they might turn it into a bad situation. So anyway, we telling everybody else, and I know your husband will sit down and talk to you, but we telling everybody else, don't just no. We talking about when you see something and you see the police beating the sister down, yeah, that's when you should come in and put enough pressure on the other officers around, or if ain't no other officers around, you put enough pressure on him and create enough of a distraction to him that he'll stop beating her down at least. Anyway, none of this is legal advice. Brother D, we at the 2 hour and 42 minute mark. I want to have you for at least 3 hours, 4 hours, but you hit a lot of different points. Is there anything else you want to hit on, man? I mean, anything else you want to tell us about engaging with the police officers?
I can go into more detail at another time because
Okay.
there's so many different angles that I can approach this from.
Okay.
But at the end
Why
of
don't
the
you
day,
do a series, brother? Why don't you do a series on engaging police, and we talk about different, you talk about you talked about the when they pull you over. We could talk about when they question you, or when they walk up to you at an event or whatever. You can just make a series, brother. I know you got the information, so
okay, yeah, I can do that.
okay.
But what I mean, basically, black people, we're going to be encountering police more than we expect to.
Right.
That's just I don't care where you live at in this United States. That's just their thought pattern. They have to stop you for whatever reason, whether you
Right.
did something or not. And
Right.
that's that mentality that they've been raised up in, that
Right.
you're bad people and you need to be stopped.
Right.
That's the reason why they get on the police department. I got on the police department for different reasons. I got on in law enforcement because I actually thought I could make a difference in my own community.
Right.
But they don't have a whole lot of us in our own community. They send us somewhere else and they put the
Right.
white dudes in your damn community,
Right.
and they don't even police their own community. They over there antagonizing your ass
Right.
24/7. So there's a lot of different things I can talk about from a lot of different cases I've dealt with, a lot of different cases I handled, and a lot of subject matter. But what I really want to get people to understand is at the end of the day, you got to get home. And there's a lot of people out there who don't care if you make it home or not. And they happen to be wearing badges. So
Right.
comply as much as you can, have enough common sense to know when they're going overboard, and asking you things beyond reasonable. And if you already know you're not committing a crime or you don't have anything on you, and don't deny it. If you do have a firearm or you have drugs, don't
Right.
tell them that you don't have it because they're
Right.
going to find it. And then you're going to, oh, what's this? And then you just
Right.
fucked up. Your credibility just went out the window.
Right.
But you can say, hey, officer, I got a dime, I got a dime bag on me. That's a misdemeanor. That's a ticket.
Right.
But you got people who will take off running behind shit like that.
Right.
What are you running?
So, so brother, is it like you said, like you were saying about the drugs? If you got four people in the car and all four people say it's not mine, then it's everybody's, right?
That's right. All y'all.
So
Yeah.
is it the same way with a pistol or some type of weapon? Is it if all four people
No,
say
if it's a weapon,
yeah.
basically whoever has physical control of that vehicle is in control of everything in it, whether it's drugs, weapons,
Okay.
anything that's wrong, it's your fucking fault. Whether
Okay.
you own up to it or not,
Okay.
it's yours. So if Ray had a fucking gun on him, guess what? It's your fucking gun because Ray
Right.
tried to shove it under the seat because you're
Right.
behind the wheel, you're in control of the vehicle. Ray says it ain't mine, then it's yours.
Right.
Or we can make it everybody's gun.
Right.
Or we can make it everybody's drug if they want to play that game.
Right. Right.
So all of y'all could be charged with the same crime. And sooner or later, somebody's going to say what's what because they don't want to be in jail. And the first one that talks is the first one that walks, by the way.
Oh,
You're a snitch.
Wait a minute. Say that again, brother. Say that again.
The first one that talks is the first one that walks. So if you a snitch ass, then you gonna walk, and your boys is gonna get hammered for your bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they say, snitches get stitches, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know how they go, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you bound by a code of I would say honor, but you bound by the code of we all in this together, and you break the code, and you agree to be down with the code, and you break it, yeah, you might have some problems to deal with. You might have
the
some
streets
problems.
is gonna handle that. The streets is
right.
gonna handle
The
that.
streets
You're not
gonna
gonna be able to
handle
walk away from that. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
gotta decide how that's gonna go. You know what I mean? But I ain't doing 50 years for nobody.
Yeah. I remember out here in LA. Well, this happened many times, but the one time in particular I'm thinking of is when there was a guy from he was from the Crips, and I think he was telling he was an informant. They found out he was an informant, so they went to his house. They killed everybody in the house, right? They killed the wrong house. He was next door.
Wow.
They got everybody. They got the wrong house, man. They got the wrong. There's one guy. There was because I was reading about him. There's a guy right now sitting in jail. Right now, been in jail for life. He's never getting out. Got in jail over this crime. 20 years. Him and two other cats committed this crime. Been in jail not 20, 30 something years. Been in jail because they did this in the 80s. They went to the wrong house, killed everybody in the wrong house, and so yeah, they don't play. The streets don't play, man. The streets don't play.
That's crazy.
Let me see what your wife got to say. G, since 5 years old, I saw racists killing my people. I let my Kit Kat break them off a little something. Man, your wife is a soldier, brother. Man,
Mm-hmm.
she ain't playing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sister G, snitches get stitches and ditches. Man, you better not play with Sister G, man. Not play with her. Yeah, man. So yeah, man, let me let you you got anything further to say, Brother D, because I know you got things to do today, man. I don't want to
Oh,
keep you all day.
I just want to say one thing, because this may happen to you, because this happens a lot, and home invasions.
Yeah.
I've actually had one.
Wow.
Everybody know I'm 5'0", right?
Right.
But in some neighborhoods, you have people moving in and moving out, and
Right.
they don't really know their neighbors, and I don't
Right.
know because they constantly move. Not like back in the day where everybody knew everybody because they kind of stayed in the neighborhood.
Right.
You got to know when you're right when you shoot somebody.
Wow.
You can't just shoot somebody and think you're not going to jail.
Right.
So I had a home invasion at my family's house because I normally wouldn't be there, and I happened to be there that night.
Oh.
And some dude, I'm running to the front door, and the dog's barking at the back door. I'm like, what
Wow.
the hell? So he already planned his escape, had the fence open, the whole nine.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I'm just gonna take him outside and whoop his ass because I don't know this guy. I never seen him before, and he just kept trying to push in the house. My wife is pregnant. She needs some help. This. He was high on whatever he was high on.
Right.
But then he pulled a gun out.
Oh.
And that changed the whole
Right.
stuff of the deck. So I already had my gun out. If I administered what needed to be administered.
Yeah, man. You got that big old Logan's Run gun, man. That thing looked like a cannon.
But
Man.
again, it comes back down to who's waking up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You gotta protect yourself regardless to what's going
Yeah.
on. And I could have went to jail that night, even though I'm a police officer. But I was in the right. I mean,
Right.
people's crib. He pulled the gun out.
Right.
I just
Yeah,
stopped.
man.
We were fighting.
I think, and I want you to come back and talk about situations like that where it's just kind of weird and how you will notice it right away. You're a police officer, so you're trained to notice weird stuff, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our people don't recognize stuff that's weird. Because I remember one time, I said, man, I'm gonna surprise my mom, and I stopped by her house. God rest her soul. I stopped by her house, and she had told me, "Oh, I really want something. I really want some El Pollo Loco. I really want some El Pollo Loco. Can you please go to El
Crazy
Pollo
chicken.
Loco for me?" Huh?
Crazy chicken in Spanish.
Yeah, right. She said, I got a taste for it. I really want it. So my mom was a diabetic, so I said, oh, okay, what I mean, it was cool. She wasn't telling me to go to, Quick and Split or nothing like that. So I said, okay, ma, I'll go there and get you something. So I go there, I had dropped my family off. I dropped my boys and my wife off over there. So my mother, because she lived in a real nice neighborhood at the time, she would sit out in the garage, move her car out of the garage, and just sit out there at the table listening to the radio, sewing, knitting, or whatever she would like to do. And she would just sit outside, right?
Mm.
Pretty upscale neighborhood for black people, right? So anyway, this chick comes walking down the street. And my wife was in the house, my boys was in the house. So the girl didn't know that anybody else was there with my mother. My mother was up there. She was probably in her 70s at the time. And so this chick that looked like she living on the street, she comes walking up to my mom talking about, I need to charge my phone. Can you help me charge my phone? So she's sitting in the garage with my mom, asking my mom about her house and what's going on with her house and everything like that, and what's going on. And so my mom never said that my wife and my boys was in the house. And so my wife came out to bring my mom something to drink. she came up to the house, she wanted something to drink because my wife was in the kitchen doing whatever, right? So anyway, my wife sees this girl out there, so my mom used to be in the real estate business really heavy, and so my wife was like, well, maybe that's one of her clients, and she was a notary, so maybe that's somebody getting something notarized or whatever, right? So my wife was just kind of like listening to the conversation, and she started getting a weird feeling about the chick. So she calls me at up, look, hey, this you need to hurry up, come back home. This chick is out here with your mom out here in the garage, and I think she's up to no good. So I said, okay. So I get the food, I come back to the house, and so now I'm there. And now the chick is acting really, really spooky, right? And so I'm like, because I'm asking the questions, Brother D, I'm like, well, where do you need to go? What can we help you with what you need to do? Oh, I just want to charge my phone. So I said, well, you've been here over hours, so is your phone should be charged by now, right? Well, I don't know, it's not working. I'm trying to call my friend, and I'm having my friend meet me over here. I said, you having your friend meet you over here? Yeah, he gonna pick me up here. I said, oh no, he's not. I said, I'll take you to him. Well, he wants to meet me at the mall around the corner. I said, okay, well, hey, I'll take you to the mall. No, that's okay, I can walk. I mean, everything that I had, she had something to say. It was just really weird, man. It was really, really weird. So that's when I was like, nah, they want to come over here. And she was sizing up the place. She thought that my mother was here by herself.
Right.
So now it's a standoff, Brother D. I'm just like, I'm just standing in front of the chick like, well, what you gonna do? I mean, you got to go. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you ain't staying here no more. So what are we talking about? What are we doing? If I'm not giving you a ride, then you need to be up and on your way. So she tried to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. I guess the dude was on his way. So finally she gets up and says, I'll just leave. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? I offered to take you where you said you need to go. You declined that. Then you declined leaving. So I don't know what you want to do, but whatever you trying to get off ain't happening here. Like she saw how determined, how like I was on it, right? But that's what I want you to come back and talk about next time. I also had another incident one time. I was suited and booted. I was on my way to another meeting. And I was suited and booted, bro. I walked into these two dudes was just about to rob this liquor store. I walked into it, just calmed the whole energy. I just see two dudes fly right past me, man, with trench coats, right? And this is LA, brother. Nobody wears trench coats in LA, bro. So you know what I'm saying? You look crazy, man. It'd be like somebody in Wyoming walking into a store in a bikini, brother. You just look so crazy, right? So I see these two brothers, man. They just fly past me in these trench coats, right? But I'm just saying, I got that weird energy as soon as I put my foot in the store, and I saw these two dudes kind of look at each other like it's go time, and then they saw me and they said F, and they ran out, right? So I want you to talk about that at another time, Brother D. Noticing weird things and how to handle it and how to be safe, because I know as a police officer, safety is the number one concern for you guys. So you can talk about that. So that's another one I'm gonna put in your cap. It's another thing I'm putting on your list, man. So I'm making your list so long, Brother D, but you got to do it. But you got to make this course, man, for these young guys about how to deal with the police, brother. I gotta force you to do that one because that is very important, man. A lot of our young men, like you said, you've seen it on that side, you've seen it on both sides, where a lot of our young men go out here and because they watching Snowfall or what's the Ghost, these other shows, and they think they can talk to the police like they talk to them on that show. They don't realize that's a police show. That's a TV show.
Right.
You dealing with a real police officer is different. And a police officer in California might be way different than a police officer in down South Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you got to know the difference. So I need you to do that, please, Brother D. Please put that
I
together,
got
man.
you.
When you get a chance. When you get a
I got
chance.
you.
Anything else? Any final words, man?
Nah, brother, I think that's good for today. Like I said, I got a whole lot of stuff I can talk about in different
Okay.
areas, different verticals as far as business and other things.
Are we coming back next week, or what are we doing? Or you need
Yeah,
some
we
time?
can do it. We can do it next week, unless something drastic happens in my schedule,
Okay. Well, we'll be
which
in
I
touch
don't
with
know.
each other.
I never know.
Okay. Well, we'll be in touch with each other. All right, brothers and sisters. That is Brother Daniel. I thank him for coming on. I thank him for coming on. Did I have some? Oh, I'm using the wrong board. Anyway, I had some applause on that board. I'm using the wrong board. Well, I thank you, Brother D, for coming on and sharing the knowledge and jewels that you shared with us today. I appreciate you, man. I want to have you back anytime you got something to share with us. Come on back and just share it with us. And I thank you for your time, brother. We'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you, sir, for allowing me the opportunity to share your time as well, and hopefully somebody got something out of
Man,
it.
man, they will. They will on the replay, Brother D. Don't even worry about it, man. They'll get it. If they wasn't in here, they'll get it on the replay. Don't even worry about it, brother. All right?
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, sir.
Peace
Have
to
a
you,
great
brother.
one.
Peace.
All right.
All right, y'all. That was Brother D. That was Brother Daniel. What did you think? What do you think? Does he know what he's talking about? He sure comes off like it to me. Does he have the information to help our young brothers discern how to navigate between the cops that might even be quote unquote racist, and the cops that's just trying to do his job but got a fear complex of us as black men? Do you think that he was eloquent enough and spoken? I do. I want him to put a course together. I gotta stay on top of him. That dude's a real busy guy, so I gotta stay on top of him. But between me and his wife, I think we'll get it done. Let's see, but Sister G, since 5 years old, okay, we got that one, Sister G. Snitches get stitches. We got that one, Sister G. Sister G, I like Brother D to bring on female law enforcement and military just to get the female's perspective. Maybe we'll do that next time, Sister G. I'll tell him about that. Maybe he will get that. Maybe he will do that next time. That is very important. Yes, yes. Because I mean, I do have a small group of females that do watch me. But yeah, we need to do that, Sister G. A touch of uniqueness. Brother Daniel, the whole crew is watching. Awesome show. Yeah, we tried touch of uniqueness. We tried. You know what I mean? We trying to give up the stuff. That's why we just talk about truth. That's why people ain't really we ain't talking about you know, we might talk about some pop stuff, but usually we talk about the truth as it affects most of these young brothers, man, because they're the ones getting snagged in the net. Anyway, Sister G, USCCA are defense attorneys, just in case you have to defend yourself. See, look at that. Sister G, bam, dropped it on us. So now USCCA, if you are listening to this and you see it, now you see it. You looking at this on the replay, you see it. Now you know you can contact these people, USCCA. They're defense attorneys. And if just in case you need to defend yourself, right? Because the worst thing you can walk into a courtroom with is a public defender, man. That is the worst thing you can walk into there with, man. Take it from somebody who knows, man. You go in there with a public defender, they're just going to plead you out. And the reason why they plead you out is because they make deals with each other so that they can career climb. And so they do a favor for a favor, quid pro quo. That if you let me win this case, I'll remember you when you trying to, move up the ladder in the county, in the law, criminal business. So anyway, what y'all think? Did Brother D handle his business? I think he did. Did Brother D give out some good information about how to deal with law enforcement and how to not be what's the word? How to not engage them in an improper way? I think he did. I think he did. Gave some good information, how we can not get ourselves caught up. And then even if we do see something going on, how to take the proper steps to try to get that to be handled. Because he told us, don't just run up to no police officers doing their job thinking you saving the life of somebody else. This might be an axe murderer. You don't know it. The only thing you're trying to stop is somebody getting killed unjustly. That's the only thing you're trying to stop. If somebody being arrested, you can handle that later. But somebody getting killed, we only talking about you find a strategy to help a person that's there. You notice that they're killing the man or killing the woman. Then we have to step in. We have to, if we really care about each other. So anyway, this was not legal advice. This was just the experiences of Brother Daniel Maiden, the experiences of Brother Clarence Muhammad. We were just giving you some information and how to navigate through dealing with these police officers. Join us tomorrow where we're going to really explore this critical race theory. Critical race theory, we're going to go through that, and we're going to see what's all that about, what's the big fuss about, what is critical race theory. Everybody has their own definition of it. What is critical race theory? What's the most common definition and accepted definition? What's the big deal? And why are typically white people having such a problem with it being dealt with in the school system? All right, we're going to deal with that tomorrow. And the rest of y'all that's out there, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate y'all. Y'all got any topics y'all want us to cover, you got my email on my page. You can just hit it, email me, and tell me, hey, brother, can you hit this topic? Can you hit that topic? All right. Till tomorrow. I'll see y'all later. Peace out there.